We need a new mouse, by the way. Sorry. All right. See, mouse thing. Let's do this. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to everybody to an all-new episode of the Anination Podcast. Nate's here, Omid's here. We're back again for another good week, aren't we?
What is up, Anination crew? How y'all doing? Hope y'all having a fantastic day. Oh, and coincidentally enough, as the day of this recording right now, it is now June 26th, which means 626 Happy Stitch Day.
Oh, it's Stitch Day. That's
yes.
Right. I like the fact that you already have that poster up ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Like I've had this poster up, not today, but I recently posted this artwork up like on Saturday when this guy and I were decorating last weekend.
Yeah, by the way, we've changed it up a little bit. Our screen has gotten a little bit different now. There's not a table here anymore. The laptop's down there now, so it's going to be easier for us to actually do presentations this time instead of actually, being a struggle here and there.
Yeah, not only that, but it definitely looks more professional this time around.
Yeah, and we have changed it up a little bit. We have our new figures down here on the table, just so those guys that were here on this table before can actually find a spot here. So there's that.
Yeah, so ladies, I hope you all love your new spot because, yeah, you're pretty much at the center spotlight right now. So congratulations to y'all.
Yeah, so what is it? Lunella, Mio, Nico, and Rem are going to be down there. And then we have our other figures out here as well. Either way, we redecorated the whole place, making things a little bit more livelier in here instead of, just the basic stuff that we've done for like 30 episodes. So yeah, we're improving a little bit here and there. I think the big thing that we have to do now is improve that camera that we have right here. It's not like HD or anything like that.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what we're working our goal towards. But yeah, it's like we gotta get with the times,
Indeed, yeah. Let me do this actually before we go. So I forgot about the fact that the laptop needs a mouse, and there's only one mouse here, so I have to actually switch between here and here most of the time. So I'm sorry.
Word of advice: get two mouses.
Yeah, no, we will get. I'll get two mouses. I can get one from my work. I can get one from work for free. Okay, so yeah.
This guy's got the hookups.
I mean, all right. So, Omid, I have to say this. Like, last week was extravagant because obviously literally that weekend was No Time to Spy weekend.
No Time to Spy.
Yeah, I gotta believe it. Also, the fact that the soundtrack also did drop at the same time.
Yes, and the soundtrack was also. John Hyland really did nail the orchestra very well.
They did it really. No, I mean he did a really good job. Like if you've seen the whole Instagram stories of him behind the scenes making all those orchestra songs, like they're absolutely great. Having like the actiony stuff, the spy music and everything. So
they are so legit. They should have their own concert.
I don't know about that. I mean he only does it for a Loud House show. I don't know if he has like more upcoming.
I just hope so. It's just a guy could dream.
I know a guy can dream. But no, I mean, Jonathan Hyland, definitely thank you very much for all the music. You guys done an amazing job with the professional soundtrack of the Loud House movie. It was absolute bomb. It's an absolute banger, I would say. Like amazing music all overall, but the movie overall was, well, how you say, better than the Loud House movie.
It's the best of the three Loud Casa movies. Like, it definitely is the best.
Oh, even better than the Casa Grande's movie.
I had some time to think. You know what? Which is better than No Time to Spy or Casa Grande's movie? And it's much better than the first movie.
So,
and the Casa Grande's movie is like, it's slightly surpasses Casa Grande's movie, just slightly.
So it's weird because like I watched it at midnight, literally when it dropped on that Friday night, and I was like by myself watching it because Mark's not a big fan of Loud House. It's okay with me, so I was watching it. And I was like enjoying the animation, enjoying like how Lincoln becomes a spy, how Myrtle got back to being a spy, and then out of all places, there's all these twists and turns, and the family were being involved and stuff. I thought it was just absolutely great to have like the Louds actually be in a spy movie this time. Like they're all in a legit like spy thing, which is pretty cool.
Not only that, but this definitely felt like a legit Loud House movie rather than being its own thing like the first Loud House movie was. Because the first Loud House movie, keep in mind, it came from Netflix, whereas No Time to Spy was purely from Nickelodeon. So there was some continuity. There was some. things that pay homage to it. Other episodes, all this stuff.
I think like when you look back at like how Netflix rolls with their movie compared to the compared to what Nickelodeon did with the Loud House movie No Time to Spy, it was so much like it's so much better just because of the continuation. Like, oh, after you watch this episode, you have to watch this movie, which is pretty cool. It's like it tells you like the Myrtle's like secret life of being a spy. Now she can actually show it off to her family. I mean, they know it already from Pop Up the Question. Now everybody's want to say like, what's the next spy thing that she'll do? And this is what happens.
And that's what I liked about it, is that it definitely felt like a sequel to a past Loud House episode. This definitely feels like Pop the Question 2, except much better. And much longer.
I think that this definitely... Here's the thing. Like, our consensus is now that the No Time to Spy movie is absolutely better than, I think, the Casagrandes movie and the Loud House movie. But the thing is that we're not going to be rating this yet, by the way. We're giving you, like, so many time opportunities for you to watch on Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon. So we're going to hold off the review until mid-July.
Yeah, so we're going to be holding it off until the best date to talk about it. But as of now, if y'all haven't seen No Time to Spy, go watch it right now. What are you waiting for?
It's number 1 right now on Paramount as we're recording today. Number 1, by the way. I'm like, wow. I thought we were like leaning back when it got to number 7 or something, but now everybody's watching it again. Now it's to the number 1 spot today. As we're recording, it's just absolutely amazing.
Loud crowd, we're number 1. We're number 1.
Indeed, we are.
Yes.
All right, but besides that, how was your weekend?
But besides our weekend, my weekend was fun.
No, keep going.
So my weekend was fun, all things considered, because Saturday, you already know, I hung out with you. We had lunch together. We had ramen together. We had boba, and also we did some decorating here, and we pretty much built this stand for this television set.
Well, the stand has been with us for quite a while. Like, it has been. We were trying to build it. We were trying to build this like when I didn't have work and when you're not busy on a weekend.
Yeah,
but it didn't turn out to be that way.
Yeah, but I told this guy, like, on a Saturday, I'm definitely free to for us to finish this, because this was definitely long overdue, but we finally got it done.
Yeah, because before, I mean, if you have been watching our Anination podcasts before, there's a table literally right here. It kind of was a little like weird when we kind of did it. I wanted to try to figure out a way we can actually make it a little bit better, and lo and behold, we have a new TV stand for you guys to check out. So this is absolutely great. Yes. And of course, the laptop that I'm doing all the presentations are now down here, so it's going to be a whole lot better when we are presenting everything. So yeah, like I said before, the only thing we have to change now is that HD camera. So yeah. I think one thing we have to do is like fans, if you want to help us out, if you're willing to donate some cash to help us out on our podcast, that'd be awesome. But we'll put more details about that later.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for more details. Yeah.
Anything else? Is that it? How about your Sunday?
So on Saturday, I went to SF to visit my friend Greg, and then we watched, and then we spent some time at his place, and then later on afterwards, we went to see the South Park movie Bigger, Longer, and Uncut sing-along, because it was
the sing-along of that?
Yeah, because it's the 25th anniversary of that South Park movie. That movie was, released around 1999, around this date. So yeah.
Why hasn't that been advertised everywhere?
It hasn't been advertised everywhere because it was a Fathom event, and it was only showing for like about a few days. That was pretty much it. So it was pretty much a rare event, and I'm so glad that we got to check it out, because it was amazing to see it on the big screen.
Were there like a bunch of other folks that were also there too, or
there wasn't too many folks?
Yeah, interesting.
It was strange.
It's South Park after all. It was a big franchise,
Yeah, it's a big franchise, but I think it's because since it's an old movie, like people are more interested in seeing current movies like Inside Out 2 or all that stuff. I think that's what's holding it back or something like that. But
because the movies are going to be dominated by Inside Out 2, like as we've been seeing in the past couple of weeks, it has been like the number 1 movie in theaters right now.
But yeah, we pretty much had fun singing along to the songs and just like singing our hearts out, just like watching the movie. It definitely has aged well. It definitely feels very relevant. It was just like, it's a classic. It's a classic.
South Park has been a long series, and its jokes have never been flat or anything.
Oh, it's never been like over 2 decades later, they still nail it with the humor. That's why it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
I see. Yeah, so that's good. So I watched Inside Out 2 again this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So-
it was okay. So it's better the second time around, just because it's like a little bit more of understanding what the heck's going on. The movie definitely, I think, felt better when it had a sequel. Well, not the best movie, but it's like, here's the thing. I only care that's the fact that Pixar is kind of back on its foot. Like, you know, we've been seeing movies falter here and there. We didn't like Lightyear. We didn't like the past Disney Pixar film. Elemental was falling for a little bit, but then it rose up again. But now it looks like Pixar is trying to follow back into, like, I understand it's sequels again, but maybe it's better sequels, because Inside Out 2 already is promising, telling me, like, hey, we're progressing along with whatever sequels they got. But the next one they have coming up is a original, Elio. So that one, I hope, would be really good. It all depends on how Pixar might strive with that.
Yeah, I do wish Pixar the best of luck when it comes to that movie. But yeah, from where I stand, Inside Out 2 is definitely the best Pixar film since Soul, and the best Pixar sequel since Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Inside Out 2 hit me
Like-
so much in the feels.
Yeah.
Like, especially as someone who has, dealt with anxiety in the past. There have been certain situations where I've gotten anxious. This movie definitely hit me.
There definitely
It
has
hit
been.
me.
There definitely has been like a lot of scenes that actually reflects it a whole lot. Really a whole lot. If you watch Inside Out 2, there's like very climactic scenes that happen. One of them, I will not spoil, obviously, is definitely the peak of the movie.
Yeah, when I saw that certain scene in the movie, I'm just like, I felt that.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't watched Inside Out 2, it's currently in theaters. Please check it out. It's definitely worth watching. And then on Sunday, it was too hot out, and I didn't do much. Because, like, I was going to play tennis with a couple of friends, but then we didn't do that because it was hot.
But yeah, man, the heat wave was real.
I ended up just chilling at home. And I was just like, okay, this is pretty sick.
Well, yeah, dude, like the heat wave is so real, man. Like,
It's been
I don't
hot,
blame you, man.
like, this past week, like, Monday and Tuesday. Monday was Tuesday was hot. It was just like we couldn't be able to survive. I literally went home, and I just took a nap.
I mean, summer's just started, so.
I know, but like I took a nap, and the nap was like 2 hours long, and I'm like, oh shit, it's 8 p.m. already. Crap, I need to make food for dinner. Yeah.
I've had pretty long naps myself, so yeah.
Well, the issue is that we don't have an AC. We obviously have to cool down with either like a fan or water or stuff to actually cool us down. I don't know what, but I don't, because without an AC, my room is just like a sauna when I go back in.
Oh,
so
man.
it's like I turn the fan on like as much as I can to open the window, because it was already sunset anyway. It was supposed to cool down, but it was still hot that I was just like, okay, screw it. I'll try to survive the heat by like knocked out, like literally I went to bed. That's how weather is right now. So
Yeah, man. So needless to say, to all you guys watching, please stay cool. Turn on your AC or fan or whatever, and be sure to drink lots of water. Water really does help.
yeah, at least your house has AC.
Especially cold water. Like, cold water is the way to go.
Indeed, yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's actually go ahead and start our episode here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is... Oh, crap. I forgot. Let's just skip button. Yeah. First episode we're going to talk about is... we didn't do this last week, but we're going to do our first impressions now on Total Drama Island, the new series that came out on Cartoon Network. Now, Amin, we have been having history about Total Drama, right? Remember
Yes.
the first time we met, we talked about our waifus of Total Drama?
Yeah, see, Total Drama Island was really legit. One of the first shows we shared a bond over.
Yeah, so it was weird because like when you watched Total Drama Island, I showed you that, and I remember you definitely going over Gwen.
Oh yeah, I was rooting for Gwen since day one.
Okay, so it was weird how my road went. I'm like, I was a Gwen fan too, but then I also looked at the other characters. I was a huge Izzy fan, a Bridget fan, a Courtney fan, but then like at the end, it was Gwen that we were rooting for. Both of us were actually thinking like, oh, Gwen is going to win Total Drama Island, but it turned out to be Owen winning the whole Total Drama Island.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You know what? But I'm going to give a semi-defense here. I'm going to give defense here. So it actually depends on which country you live in. So technically there are two alternate
There
scenes.
are alternate endings.
There are two alternate endings.
Dude, there are alternate endings. We get it. Like you can watch an alternate ending, but the official one is on the network. So whatever Cartoon Network showed was the official answer.
No, see, there's actually one that I consider to be the true ending, and it's the one that doesn't involve brownies. I'm just going to put it that way. Okay?
Gwen's
ending is the true ending.
We get it. Gwen wins. But no, it was Owen who won.
Gwen wins in my book. End of story.
Owen won. That was the official thing that happened. Owen won. Okay.
Fake ending.
Oh,
Fake ending.
It's a official. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, you can't blame yourself for that. You're biased. this guy's a little biased and shit. Oh my god.
Gwen's ending was so much better in any way, shape, or form, and you can't convince me otherwise.
No, I you know what? I gotta deal with it. Hey, you can't be bitter about this. I was bitter a little bit, but then I said, okay, fine. Owen wins, whatever.
Oh, I'm not bitter about this. I'm just accepting that. Okay, there's a true ending and there's a fake ending.
Come on.
See, Cartoon Network made the mistake of showing us the fake ending.
But then you look.
It's like
everybody voted who they want to win, and they wanted Owen.
You see,
Cartoon Network voted for Owen.
See, watching Total Drama Island is like playing Persona. You get a good ending and you get a bad ending.
Oh my god. It's like every RPG. It's like every RPG game.
RPG. See, Total Drama Island felt like an RPG. You go with the good ending, you get the bad ending. Obviously, you got to go with the good ending. And the good thing is, my girl won.
Come on. No, so officially, Omid is going to tell you some conspiracy lies right now. I just want to say, Owen did win Total Drama Island. Okay, the first season of Total Drama Island was won by.
That wasn't even fair. It was because Izzy brought all these brownies, and then out of nowhere, plot convenience, because they got to find a force way to make Owen win.
You blame Izzy. Izzy was the one who made it.
No, but it doesn't make sense. Gwen was right there. Gwen was all the way there. Then Owen just came. It's like whoosh. It's just like, are you kidding me? That was like a
but then the alternate ending had Izzy behind in front of the line, and then Owen didn't finish the line, and then would make Gwen win. Okay. Oh god, that alternate ending actually looks stupid. To be fair.
Not really, because it showed us more Gwent. It showed us more Gwent's magic.
I know. Well, to be fair, that Gwent magic did die off in the second season.
Don't you remind me. First of all,
just remember, we continue watching Total Drama to Total Drama Action to Total Drama World Tour. I think that's when we stopped after that. But
I'll never look at the number 9 the same way again.
Yeah. Oh my god. Total Drama Action. Omid's favorite character did leave quickly, 4th or 5th eliminated, and I'm like, wow. After your big peak of being number 2 overall, you literally went down
number
to
1.
No, two. Oh, Jesus.
Continue.
Literally dropped down to 10th place, and I'm like, okay, that's terrible. I'm sorry, Gwen. You totally blew it. You totally blew it.
Honestly, and the way that she got eliminated made no sense too. And you know what? That's actually the one thing I will criticize Gwen over, is that in Total Drama Action, she had no reason to, rig the game for the other team. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's like you don't owe them anything, Gwen. Seriously.
But I have to say, because of Gwen's elimination so quickly, I actually started to fall out of being a Gwen fan, and this is where I started to actually become a Courtney fan. And she fuzzed up. Okay, she makes sense. Why she wasn't that great in season 1, her CITNS never showed. And then it showed up in Total Drama Action. I'm like, okay, I like her.
Honestly, I hated her from season 2 onwards. She was fine in season 1, but TDA onwards, she got on my nerves quickly.
No, I still love her. Okay, wait, here's the thing. Did you like her in the next seasons? Because she was better in World Tour. She was friends with Gwen.
I mean, skills-wise, yes, but personality-wise, she was just straight up awful.
I mean, what sucks is that, who actually twisted it up a little bit and actually had Gwen and Courtney actually fight each other. Do you remember that? Was it Alejandra or was it Heather? I forgot. But either way, in Total Drama World Tour, I was like, oh god, Courtney could go far, and then she didn't.
Yeah, let's just say that it's pretty much the downfall of whom I used to consider to be one of the best characters of Total Drama.
What do you mean?
Oh, in terms of character writing, now, Duncan was awesome in Total Drama Island and Action, but then World Tour onwards was when the character went straight to
Duncan won Action, by the way. Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about character writing-wise.
Yeah. And remember, I was also rooting for Beth also in Action just because I'm like, what? Smarts win the race.
I was celebrating with Duncan won, because, Duncan was, after Gwen got eliminated, I was rooting for Duncan to win. Look what happened.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Duncan was a favorite. Duncan was definitely a favorite. Everybody voted for Duncan, so it makes sense why he won. But there is the alternate ending where Beth won, too.
Okay. All right. Well, we just like with Donna, we can accept that in Action there are 2 endings.
I dealt with the fact that Duncan wins. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take an L. I don't care.
And I'll take the L. Let's go.
Whatever. And then we went to World Tour. And this is where we actually start to like our characters back. Because remember... I was not a big... I'm a big fan of Courtney, a big fan of Gwen, a big fan of Bridget, and then, a lot of other characters, too. But then the boys also came back as well. Cody came back. Noah came back. And when you said Noah... When somebody said Noah, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching this season. I'm really hoping he goes far. He's not eliminated in the 3rd round. Because I hated that.
Yeah, and where'd you know? Like after World Tour, Noah became one of my favorite Total Drama characters.
Yes. Oh, see, now you like him a lot.
I've always liked him. He was one of my favorites because
he was my favorite. Same with Cody. And Cody, like, he's a nerd and he's a huge Gwen fan. I don't know.
Cody was also one of my favorites. Cody and Noah are up there as my favorite Total Drama boys.
Yeah, I definitely love Noah because he's so relatable. Cody was definitely an awesome guy, so I like both of them. Yes. But then again, it's just like the island. It's just more like the island characters never really got their spotlight, and I'm really happy that they did. Ezekiel was just, I mean, like he was eliminated first, and he got eliminated first again in World Tour. But he became like
he turned into Gollum.
Yeah, he turned into
Ezekiel
Gollum.
became Gollum.
And I'm like, oh, this is what we're gonna go through, huh?
Yeah, it was just random. It came out of nowhere.
I know. And the thing is, like, it's more like, hey, look, you guys didn't see him in action. Okay, fine, we'll bring him back to World Tour, and they did a great job. I think World Tour was actually one of my favorite seasons of Total Drama.
I will say World is my second favorite season behind the OG Island. Like the OG Total Drama Island is what I consider peak Total Drama.
Yeah. I mean, I like that too, but I still have to say, really got to give the props out to World Tour because it's like I like my bro is back, Noah's back. Again, and then some characters did actually do really well in the spotlight. Like Courtney did so much better over there. Heather was the biggest surprise of all. Remember, she was like
Heather.
That was cute. But I was thinking, but the thing was like Heather was absolutely like a meanie in the first season. She was third place overall, and then she did better in action, but she didn't really go from like top 5 or anything. And then went to number 1 in World Tour, and I felt like with Alejandro and Heather like competing, like it tells me that Heather actually was a better character like in that show, and made me like her a little bit. She did do a lot of stuff to Gwen back in season 1. And
which I hated, by the way.
Of course you hate it, because she was going to break Gwen and Trent.
Because I'm a huge fan of Gwen's. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Heather, you're on my shit list for that.
Yeah, and and that's what happened. Like, we all were hating on Heather. We didn't like her at all from TDA. And then when you started watching, like, the rest of World Tour, you're thinking, maybe she has a chance. Maybe he has a chance. But then Cody was also in the top 3. And I'm like, Cody, go.
I was Team Cody, bro. I was Team Cody.
Yeah, and then fuck Alejandro because he fucking ruined Noah's chances of going all the way to the fucking top 3. This is what made me hate Alejandro.
Alejandro, though, I will say, was actually like the best Total Drama villain because he had the looks, he had the charisma, he had the intelligence, and he had this way of sort of like playing the suave, nice guy, the nice gentleman, but then turns out to stab you with the back when he got the chance. So I will say this, like Alejandro really stood out to me as the best villain, and also because he was a foil to Heather, and pretty much he was what made Heather like be the anti-hero, because you remember how Heather was a villain, a full-on villain in season 1? Well, season 3, she's a full-on anti-hero.
Yeah. I feel like she definitely works well. Like, she might have the villainy here and there, but in the end, she did end up becoming the winner, and I respect that. I respect that she ended up winning it all. And I think she deserved it because of all the things that has been going on in that season. So either way, that was Total Drama World Tour. And then that was it for me. I kind of stopped watching Total Drama from there. Did you watch Revenge of the Island? Did you watch Packet 2 Island? Did you watch the other All-Stars, for example?
I watched All-Stars, and the only good thing about it is that Gwen did so much better there than in Action or World Tour.
Yeah,
I was actually proud of her.
I remember
progress.
you liked that red hair girl from
Zoe.
Yeah,
Zoe was my favorite in Revenge of the Island.
But she didn't win. It was her boyfriend, I believe, right?
Like her boyfriend Mike won All Stars, but then there was an alternate ending to where Zoe won as well. So, like I said, 2 endings. Remember, two endings.
No. You have to go with the official winner. You have to stick with the official winner. What was the name again?
Mike.
Mike won.
But I'm sorry, but that ending I just didn't like because it was Mal controlling Mike the whole time.
Well, here's the thing. What was it? You have Gwen, who was also in the All-Stars finale, by the way.
Yes, Gwen as one of the helpers. Like, she got eliminated around, like, the top 5 or top 4, which is bear crap, by the way.
Wait, she got eliminated literally, like, 5th below, or
like she got eliminated. Like she was one of the top 4, top 5.
yeah. I remember Courtney was also. I remember Courtney was there, but until somebody leaked up some tape that she was gonna backstab people, that's the reason why.
It was a chart. Like Mal found a chart.
Yeah, Mal is a stupid person.
Hey, Courtney was even stupider for trying to. She was gonna eliminate Gwen. It's like I'm glad he exposed her.
I mean that was her only chance to actually get her into at least the top position, and she never made top 5 at all. This is her chance to actually make it top 5, and then she got eliminated literally before the top 5 happened. I'm so pissed off. I really am like I said, we've been huge fans of Total Drama. We have kind of fallen off a little bit when they brought up Takatu Island, Revenge of the Island. All Stars is when we come back just because like, everybody came back. And then they brought a Redonkulous Race, which was not even hosted by Chris McClain. It was some other guy.
It was hosted by Dawn. The name of the guy is Dawn.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, that was just more of like a spin-off to Amazing Race than Survivor.
It was a spin. That's the best way to describe it. It's nothing more than an Amazing Race, spin parody.
Yeah. But no matter what, I mean, you can see us right now. We're just talking about Total Drama. We are fans of Total Drama ever since, but we did fall off just because we didn't really care about the other characters. Now the fact that Total Drama is back with brand new characters, and it just feels like we're pressing the reset button. We're not having a Gwen, a Courtney, a Bridget, a Jeff, a Duncan, a DJ, a Owen, etc., etc., etc. We're having brand new characters. It is just going to be challenging for us because as we were Total Drama fans before, we wanted to check it out and think and see, hey, we want to try it again. We grew up watching Total Drama. Why don't we watch this new series and see if we can be able to have our favorite contestant go through all the way. But before we reveal our favorite contestants, let's actually talk about the cartoon itself. Now, it's just the same people who made it, Fresh TV, the same creators who made it as well. The big difference that happened between the old series, the first series, and the new series is that Chris McClain's voice has changed. Do you like the new voice of Chris?
I will say I do miss hearing Christian Potenza as Chris McClain. Now, I completely understand why Christian Potenza didn't voice him anymore. However, when I hear the voice, it's just, I'm trying to get used to Chris McClain's new voice like this, but I'm just like, every time I hear him, I think of Dawn, because that's actually Dawn's voice actor.
Yeah, you're right. So it's weird because you actually have, like, Dawn and then Chris McClain. But I was thinking, like, maybe a new guy could actually be up there, too. I do miss Christian Potenza. Like, he did voice Jude from 16. He did a lot of, like, voice acting back in Canada, but after all the allegations that's been going on with him, it makes sense for him to not be a part of this new project.
Yeah, after the allegations, I completely get why he isn't voicing the character anymore.
But here's the thing. The same charisma is in the character. He wants these kids to get hurt for ratings. He did that in season 1, and it shows, like, in this brand new show, he just loves it to do it for the ratings, and it's working for him. But still, for every, like, contestant that's there, I feel so sorry. Every challenge that he always brings up to them.
Yeah, Chris McClain definitely is back in full form, and
I think he's kind of more. I think he's kind of more evil or something. Like, wow, you don't care about your kids.
Yeah, Chris McClain would be like. F them kids, right?
Yeah.
F those kids.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, either way, like, the way the whole thing about, well, we'll talk about the episodes later, but I'm just saying, like, look, the only thing that's the big difference is that we have brand new contestants and there's new characters. Chef is still the same chef. He still reminds me of the whole Dramarama chef, by the way.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like, oh, we saw you.
Yeah, because he's wearing the purple shirt.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Total Dramarama was also a show of Total Drama.
It doesn't exist.
No. You have your favorite characters in there. Gwen's there. Courtney's there. LaShawna's there.
I'm sorry, but no.
Duncan was there. Duncan was like the main character of the Rama.
There is no reason for that thing to exist. Total Drama. It's called Total Drama for a reason because they're supposed to be teenage age.
And you know what though? It had like 4 seasons or something. So
why?
I wanted to point that out because hey, our favorite characters were in the show too. But as preschoolers.
No, I'm sorry. I like one season was enough for me. I couldn't stomach even the second.
Come on, don't you want to see an episode where Gwen and Courtney hang out? Courtney is in a pink shirt. She's adorable. She's adorable.
No. The character animations on them as preschoolers may be cute, but oh my god, the stories and the jokes and all this stuff are just ugh. No. full on cringe.
It's adorable though. I had to watch at least a couple episodes. It was fun to watch. I mean, oh yeah, hey, Cody's there, Noah's there, even Jude was there. We got the fact that 60s Jude is there.
How is Jude incorporated? I know it's Fresh TV, but how is Jude incorporated in this?
I don't know. 16 total drama. You gotta really, mix up the Fresh TV characters in there.
So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I've watched a bit of Total Drama Rama, and I hated it.
Also, some Packatu Island characters also did come in as well. So I'm just saying, like, they wanted to try to at least incorporate all the Total Drama universe in Total Drama Rama, but they only cared more about the season 1 characters anyways. But I don't care. That was actually something fun to watch. It was just like something to say, like, hey, okay, cool. I'd like to see them as preschools, whatever.
It was anything but fun, but go ahead.
Okay, so if we're gonna go talk about characters, let's actually talk about the contestants here. These are the contestants right now in Total Drama. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 16 characters in the show. And the thing is that each of them have their own traits. At the moment right now, we have... currently we're going to be talking about the episodes, but the thing is that we don't want to tell who's eliminated. All we get to say is that all of them have their own quirks. Like, some of them are influencers, some of them are robbers, some of them are crazy, some of them are hot, some of them are jocks, some of them are smart, and then some of them are, well, to be fair, in the LGBT community.
Yeah. Now, I look at the lineup, and I think to myself... And now, as I've watched, okay, I'm gonna get my impressions on the characters first, and before I get into the characters and what my thoughts are on those characters compared to the OG cast. When I look at this, I thought to myself, some of the characters look interesting, but there are those that look a bit, too, how do I put it, too, how do they put it, too ordinary. They look like some of them look too ordinary, down to the point where I feel like they're gonna go with their one personality trait that carries their characters without much depth to them.
That's the thing. Like, all of them had their traits back in the original series. Like Courtney, CIT, be a leader. Duncan, badassness. He always is a jerk. And I see some of them have it too. I mean, I'm not gonna explain the characters yet. I'm just saying, like, there are some that are jerks. There are some that have some relationship issues. There are some that care more about followers.
The thing that made the original so memorable is that each and every character had their own unique personality trait that stood out to them.
They still do have it. Like, all of them still have their personality traits too.
No, but like in the OG cast, they pretty much had more, diverse cast, if you know what I mean. They had more diverse cast because each and every one of them had their own, personality traits that stood out to them. And not only that, they worked well off of each other with their personality traits.
Okay, so when you watched the first couple episodes, did you like these characters a little bit more than the characters of Total Drama back in the regular series?
No, I'm sorry, but as much as some of these characters do look interesting, and some of them I even consider some of them we do generally like, but they don't hold a candle to the original cast.
Yeah, I will agree with that, but I am, like, after watching 3 episodes of Total Drama Island 2024, I'm enjoying it a little bit now. Like, after watching the first episode, I'm kind of like, oh, we're really going that fast, are we? Okay, kind of a boring episode. But then I saw episode 2 and 3, and I'm like, okay, this is getting a little bit interesting.
Plus, and think about it. The OG Total Drama cast had about 22 to 23 characters. They had 22 to 23.
Well, you can't really
competitors.
You can't really.
Whereas here, they have less.
You can't really bring a lot of people now. I don't know. You can't really bring up 24 contestants like they did before. Either way, I mean, nonetheless, everybody has their own favorites. I mean, we're gonna show ours at the end of our segment here. But either way, these are your contestants for Total Drama. Let's actually talk about the episodes that we've watched. Well, first episode was, we meet the characters. So there's that. How do you like the fact that we have trouts and frogs teaming up with each other this time?
Yeah, we have. I like the fact
there ain't no bass, there ain't no
gophers.
Gophers, yes.
I like the fact that they come up with different, creature names. They come up with new mammal names, and and also considering how we're a huge fan of a certain Disney show, you would think that we would go for a certain team, which is the frogs. But
well, to be fair, the frogs are winning. Like, to be fair, each of them have their own quirks here and there. What makes them better and what makes them worse? Yeah.
Yeah, but due to a certain character that we're going to talk about, I was going for the Trouts, and we're going to discuss why. We're going to discuss why.
Okay. Either way, first episode they had their first challenge. It was more of like a blindfold challenge. They're just talking and stuff. But we already have our first elimination. Do we want to talk about the eliminated cast already, or?
Sure, we'll talk
I
about
don't know.
that.
I'm just saying for those that are going to be watching, because like I don't know if we want to tell them like, hey, this guy got eliminated. Don't vote for him. Don't root for him.
Well, it kind of depends. Like hopefully they've already seen it.
No. I think it's best if we just don't mention it.
Okay, no eliminations because we won't bring us spoilers. But we're gonna talk about the challenges though. We're talking about challenges.
I'm just gonna say for our episodes, we just want to talk about the challenges because I think that's the main part about the episode. So second episode, they did like a Pirates of the Caribbean episode where like both of them are in ships and they try to sink each other down. And I think that was actually pretty competitive. It was pretty competitive. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was thinking, like, okay, look, this team already got it in the bag. Look, they're already eliminating teams here and there, and they got that.
Yeah, I think that was out of the three. This was definitely the best of the three because it's a pirate themed challenge, but them shooting cannons at each other, and it's really engaging to watch.
Yeah. So I actually enjoyed that one a bit, and then 3 was actually pretty good. Like, well. I mean, the episode 3 was actually not bad. It was more of a challenge of trying to save your fellow teammate from drowning. One contestant gets in this tube, and then Chris has the other contestants go through this obstacle course in order for them to unlock your member. This one was interesting because everything looked fine for a team until one member broke down and then cost them the team. And it made sense why that person got eliminated. I was like, look, I watched episode 3 and I was like, she has to go. She has to go. And thankfully she did leave. And I'm like, good, get her the fuck out of here.
Oh, she needed a reality check.
She was the one that ended up like ruining the freaking ruining it all. So yeah. But watching all 3 episodes, like I said, it was not a great start because it felt so quick. It wasn't the same like Total Drama Island before where you actually like got settled in, met up with the characters, started to bond and say like, oh, this character might be good. This character might be good. Exactly.
And that's why the reboot didn't stand out to me nearly as much as the original, because the original took its time to flesh out the characters. It took the time for it to settle down. Whereas in the Total Drama reboot, I felt like they pretty much, rushed the characters' relationships and all that.
How about well, here's the thing. Like, I get it. First episode wasn't great of a first impression, but like episode 2 and 3 felt like Total Drama episodes. Like, you have them competing. You have to you like watch it and see who will win. And then you have Chris McClain and Chef like literally sabotaging the kids for the ratings.
Yeah, I will say, like one thing that the reboot does manage to capture as good as the original is, Chris and Chef as their usual saboteur selves.
Yeah.
And,
well, Chef is continuing to make bad grub, which you see, and by them eating at the mess hall. And you see Chris McClain continue to be sadistic and always try to get the kids hurt or something.
Yeah, like they brought back the charm of when Chris McClain played to begin with.
Like where Chris continues to be like evil like that.
Now as a teenager, I found Chris McClain to be hilarious, but when I watch it as an adult, I think to myself, Chris, you are such a sadistic. These are kids. These are teenagers.
Well, that's his character. That's the thing. So he will be continuing on being Chris McClain like that.
There's just
he'll still be the host, but he'll also have that characteristic where you might hate him, you might like him for it.
I'm sorry,
you're mostly gonna hate him because he's like, "What are you doing to these kids?"
There's just something very unsettling about me watching an adult statistically enjoying putting minors in dangerous challenges.
I don't know. Either way, look, they signed a contract. This is for $1 million. If they win, you win $1 million. If you lose, you go home in a. I didn't like this, by the way. Why a drone, not a boat? Remember Island? They had a boat where they can like leave.
Why didn't they just bring that back? There was no reason to have a drone.
I don't know. Maybe the boat sank, and that's why they have a freaking drone carrying them off.
Like when the characters get eliminated, it felt like a skill crane game.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this is a new generation too, so it makes sense why there's mentioning about influencers. There's mentioning of like training now, because they've watched the previous Total Drama. Like, here's the thing. Like some of them have watched the previous Total Drama. and they have like trained themselves to get themselves into the show and survive. You know,
Yeah.
to get $1 million.
It was Priya that mentioned that her parents were major Total Drama fans, and that's why they trained her so hard to win this.
You like the fact that Owen appeared technically? Hey, if anything, I do want to see, if anything, Total Drama, like old Total Drama shoutouts in the new series.
I'm still waiting for my Gwen cameo. I'm just put it that way.
You have an Owen cameo. There's your Owen cameo there.
I'm just like, you got the wrong Total Drama Island champion.
All right. So, Omid, are you going to continue on? You already watched 3 episodes. Are you going to continue on watching Total Drama?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm still gonna give it a chance. You know, I gave Packet 2 Island a chance. I hated that. Yet
I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan.
if I could get through, you know, Packet 2 freaking Island from beginning to end, I think I could get through this from beginning to end. It's still better. This way, at least it's better than those. This is Total Drama Rama. Okay.
I want Total Drama Rama. I like them. Yay, they're cute.
Like I will take this over that god awful piece of garbage any day.
Oh my god. No, it's cute. Come on. Total Drama Rama was actually not bad of a series. Not bad. I didn't say it was a stellar series. It was not bad.
There was no reason to make Total Drama another daycare series.
It's supposed to be like We Baby Bears. Look how that happened.
Yeah, like why do they have to make everything baby-fied shows? I just don't get it.
Look what they did with Craig of the Creek. They made Jessica's Big Little World. That's just more for Jessica because she's a little tot.
No, what I mean is by baby-fied shows is that they did like pretty much decrease the ages to make them you know, babies, infants, all this stuff. Okay. There's no reason for them. I find it pointless because there's no reason for them to exist other than, oh, isn't he cute?
Yeah, isn't he cute? look at Courtney. Okay, he's so cute.
That's the only purpose that Total Drama Rama and shows like that, like Baby Looney Tunes, for example, also exist. Nothing more than
I don't care. They were more targeted towards the little kids anyway. And they liked it. I don't know. Kids liked it. They had a hit. It had 3 seasons. Okay. I will say this for myself. I will actually continue watching this show. I am like hooked again back to what I was back in Total Drama Island. It's not the same feeling like I was when I first watched it back in 2008. But it had that same hook for me where I'm like, I'm rooting for this character. I want him to win. Hopefully they make it to the top 5 or something. Yeah. So without further ado, Omid, let's go ahead and reveal our contestants that we're rooting for this season. So Omid, I looked at what you said, and everybody, like drum roll please. This is what Omid is going to be. Yes. This is what Omid is going to be going for. What the fuck?
Yes. You're saying it correctly, ladies and gentlemen. I am rooting for Scary Girl.
She's so insane. I don't like her.
She's so insane, and that's why she works as a character.
No. Look. Everything that's mentioned from her is death. Like, I like dying. I like blood. What the? And I don't know. She works at a freaking like carnival or something that she actually killed freaking clowns. I don't her backstory is so weird. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of Lauren. Well, by the way, her name is Lauren. I am not a fan of Lauren.
Like, I'm gonna say this right now. The Total Drama reboot, like, it is mediocre so far. I'm gonna be honest. Total Drama reboot so far. And here's the number one thing that I have to say. Total Drama reboot needed this girl. Total Drama reboot needs Scary Girl in order to add the flavor to the cast, to add the uniqueness, to add the weirdness of the cast, because most of the cast ended up being a bit ordinary and most of them range from mid to, you know, just straight up annoying. Scary Girl, however, manages to get me hooked, and every scene with her every line that comes out of her mouth, her voice over delivery, it's just like, oh yes, give me more.
This is total yandere behavior, bro. Oh my gosh, because all the things that she talks about, she even eats raw squirrel. Oh.
She's like the combination of my top 2 favorite Total Drama characters, Gwen and Izzy. Like she's pretty much what happens.
Izzy's not that crazy.
This girl is what you get when you put Gwen and Izzy in the blender and push the high button. This is what you get.
Oh no, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I don't like her. If I was a contestant in Total Drama 2024, I will also eliminate her immediately. Oh, look. I would not be in a dorm room with her if she like comes up to your room and starts like looking at you while you're asleep. You know, she has that kind of attitude.
Yeah, I will admit she's not the best character to have around you, but she's definitely the best character to watch in this godforsaken show.
Dude, there are a lot of better other characters to watch. Come on. Do you not care about drama that's happening between two characters? Do you not care about jocks like working together? Do you not care about a hot guy that's like being Justin from first season?
To be honest, not really, because, well, the whole drama thing between Chase and Emma felt more like a will they, won't they story.
Do you like the character that actually is tougher than Eva from first season?
Absolutely did stand out to me, but
I liked her. I freaking liked her, and then she got... Oh, I will never mention it.
She got screwed over, that's all I'm going to say.
I will never mention it. I was like, I liked her, and I actually was rooting for her until that happened.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't really care for half of the characters because they felt like tiresome cliches or one-dimensional characters.
But that's what makes total drama great. Like, oh, can their like quirk make them become the champion?
Yeah, no, but like I said before, is that from what I've seen so far, like they only got their quirk to work with. They don't have much more depth than that. I want to see more depth from these characters.
There is possible depth. Who knows? They can grow as characters in total drama. Maybe, for example, Priya and what's her name again?
Millie.
Millie, yeah.
Priya and Millie,
those two can actually work together or something.
You know, Priya and Millie are also up there as some of my favorites from the show.
And I've been underrating MK. She's not my favorite, by the way, but I'm underrating MK because she looks to be a smart girl that can actually win it too. But I'm not rooting for her, by the way.
Yeah, MK. Now I was a bit iffy about MK in the first two episodes because she stood out because she came off as she's just a girl that steals.
So this is the way.
But then in episode 3 was like, okay, I was a bit impressed by her.
So this is the way I kind of described MK. She's kind of like Sasha and Marcy's kid.
So she's a Sasha kid.
Yeah.
She's a Sasha kid.
She kind of is Sasha and Marcy's kid.
No wonder she ended up in Killer Frogs.
I mean, look.
She ended up in Killer Frogs.
She looks like Marcy, and she also does have a attitude like Sasha. I'm just putting it out there.
No wonder she ended up in Killer Frogs, like I said.
Okay, so yeah, that's Omid's character. I don't know why you rooted for her. You are a crazy man for rooting for a crazy girl like her. I watched 3 episodes and she is crazy. Okay, I will not vote for her.
She's crazy. She's outlandish, and that's why she's the best character of the cast to me.
Come on,
that's why she's the best. Okay, come on,
get out of here. Okay. All right. Before we get more freaked out, I actually want to go back to her and see. Okay, that's her name. Okay. All right. Before I go, I will have to pick my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and reveal my favorite character that I'm going to be rooting for this season. Will you put the drum roll, please? I will be picking Julia as my favorite.
Okay, look.
What's wrong with Julia? What? Oh, you're gonna put some words about Julia? What are you gonna tell? What are you gonna say about her, huh?
Now, I'm not gonna hate on your girl nearly as much as you hate on mine, but I'm gonna be honest. Julia comes across as the typical social media influencer trope.
Now, it's so weird because like the first thing I saw was that her influencer type is more meditation, calmness, and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that about her.
Like, she's down to earth. I do respect that. And I don't hate the character. I just find her to be meh. Because, like, she comes off as this, typical social media influencer character.
Just like Andrea Davenport? Is that what we're going for?
The difference is that with the other social media influencers, like Andrea, there was at least much more depth to the character than just that. Whereas her, on the other hand, she just comes across as the social media girl who's into meditation. I'd say.
I think she's gonna be more interesting because the way I'm kind of looking at her is that she's been very nice to people. She's been also strategizing too. Like, I get it. Her phones are gone. The first impression I saw from her, her phones are gone. And she says, goodbye, my babies. There's that. But my other issue is that, okay, look, I feel like after the 3rd episode, because in that 3rd episode, she was actually the one in the tube. And you were thinking she will panic, like Damien, for example. But no, I feel like she is calm. She's using her... She's using her platform of calmness that she did to actually get a lot of followers for her to actually thrive in this show. I don't know what more things can happen to Julia, but I'm a huge fan of her. I feel like she can go far, maybe like halfway point, maybe top 5. But I'm really hoping she actually does hit the $1 million.
I mean, if she does, I'm happy for her. But I see better characters in the cast personally.
I know, but.
Speaking of which, do you want to talk about some of our favorites?
Oh yeah, we can go back. Yeah, we can go back to our other favorites too. Let's actually look back into the other characters that we're actually gonna be talking about. Again, Axel, he really, really wanted you to stay. God damn. I have to say this though. Priya and Millie are definitely underdogs. Watch out for them. They can go top 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna see this right now. Like, my favorite characters are, well, number one, Scary Girl. My second favorite.
Why? Just why Scary Girl? I'm just saying why.
And my other favorites are Bowie. Like, Bowie really does stand out, not just because he's part of the LGBTQ plus community, but also because there's something about his flair and his style that just really appeals to me. Like, he has so much fun with the role, like in what he does. Like, you know, like he's really enjoying himself there. And also, Priya and Millie are also up there with some of my favorites as well. I enjoy their friendship, and I enjoy, you know, Priya being, you know, the one to train hard since her parents watched, you know, the OG Total Drama. That was actually really interesting perspective on her. And also Millie, she's an awesome therapist, like a psychiatrist. I just really like Millie.
I'm really wondering about the whole note-taking, that quirk that she has. What is that going to lead into? Making her go into the top 5? Because that's the thing that she does. Like, every time she walks by.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that really, you know, I think that's one thing that really does capture my interest about Millie. Why she becomes, like, one of the better characters. Like, her note-taking, her intelligence makes me think she's going to go far.
I'm assuming that she's using it to beat out the rest of the contestants, so watch out. I think she might be able to look good. I actually like Bowie too. That he definitely is like a different type of character, obviously gay, but also at the same time I actually do like his style. Like, he talks to folks, he like is pretty, he puts some emphasis on the show and puts some like dramatic stuff that can happen in the show, which to be fair, that's what it is. Total Drama Island, it's a drama.
Yeah, that's
show.
what I like about Bowie, is that he definitely does blend into this environment very well. Like, he socializes with people, he gets his head in the game, he enjoys doing what he's doing while focusing. Like, let me tell you, like, I want to see Bowie go far too.
Yeah. I actually want to give some props out to Rain and Raj. I actually do like them to at least go up higher. I'm thinking more on Raj's case because there is something going on between Raj and somebody else. I'm not going to spoil it, by the way, but he can thrive with other folks depending on how things go. But I have to say this, by the way. Please take out Ripper.
Oh,
he's
God.
the worst. He's worse than he's like the anti-Owen. I can tell you that. He's the anti-Owen.
I don't think I hate a character in this lineup more than I hate Ripper. Oh. Ripper is just straight up god awful. He's so irritating. He's so irritating. He even talks to girls and tells them like they're nerds. And I'm like, wow, you son of a bitch. Like, seriously, first of all, he's really behind with the times. Second of all, like, his fart jokes are even worse than Owen's.
Oh, and also he exposes his butt way too much.
Again, worse than Owen. I can't believe I have to say this, but yeah. Like, Owen seems tame in comparison to this jerk. Yeah.
All right, quickly before we actually end the segment here. Who do you think will thrive better, Chase or Emma?
Now, when it comes to Chase and Emma, I'm gonna be honest. Like I said before, I'm not a fan of, you know, their story because we all know it's gonna lead up to them getting back together. So I felt it's the cliche will they won't they story. But I'm gonna say this right now, my money's on Emma.
Yeah, and I also want to give some shout outs to MK. I feel like from her strategies and stuff, I think she could also go far. I also have been spoiled that they actually. I have been spoiled that Julia and MK become friends.
Yeah, and MK was a character that at first I wasn't a fan of, but then in episode 3 and episode 4, she actually manages to impress me with, you know, how skilled she can be. She can be crafty. She can hack into stuff. Like MK is one of those that got much better for me.
So to say the least, this is exciting. I'm actually liking the new Total Drama series. We can't wait as more episodes come along for Total Drama. It is airing on Max every Sunday. Saturday. Saturday on Cartoon Network and then next day on Max. So if you want to watch along with us, please check it out. It's on Max every week. So yeah.
Yeah, I watch it on Max. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to mute it here, but Omid, I'm so sorry. No. That's not a spoiler, by the way. That's not a spoiler. That's all I can say.
Moving on.
Okay, let's talk about the next topic here. Let's actually talk about the Animation Guild. We want to give some updates about the Animation Guild. This August, animation workers are going to be in a picket line right now as it comes for fairer conditions when it comes to the line of animation. As you know, studios are currently getting rid of a couple of animators here and there because of brand new things that are going to replace them. Like, for example, AI has been the biggest issue right now, as it has been replacing animators as well as voice actors. In August, they're going to make a deal where they can actually, try to keep the workers working well with like good benefits and fair pay and all this kind of stuff. Either way, this week as we're recording this animation podcast, they are doing a new movement called #canceled cartoons that has been trending on Twitter recently, with animation fans sharing their favorite cartoons that have been #canceled.
Yeah.
And this is where like a lot of big names actually started using the hashtag cancel cartoons. I saw our friend Miguel Puga. He actually used #cartoons to actually talk about the Casa Grandes being canceled. Also, #cancel cartoon is also used by Matt Brawley to talk about the animation world at the moment. Yes, we understand Amphibia did end, but he is also supporting other animators too.
That's why I commend Matt Brawley. Like, he stands with his fellow brethren. He stands with his fellow, animation workers.
Yeah.
That's what I respect.
So we know the animation world is having a lot of problems. How bad do you feel about the Animation Guild at the moment, considering that they're doing as much as it takes to at least have everybody who's anybody look at their movement so that they can also hear about it and be involved?
As a huge animation fan myself, I gotta say my heart weeps, my heart breaks for those in the animation industry that are suffering right now because of current conditions. It's just really devastating to see, like, not just animated, animation workers, not just animators, but also their animated projects being shafted, being canceled because, of how the animation industry is currently running.
Yeah, at the moment right now, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, you've seen what happened to certain cartoon projects, aka we did an episode about this, Coyote versus Acme. Yeah, you've seen how that went.
Release Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah, I really hope they do. #cancel cartoons. Let's bring back...
keep the hashtag real. Let's bring the hashtag back alive.
So, if you want to keep the hashtag alive, let's actually talk about cancel cartoons that we wish that didn't get canceled. I'll go first. One cartoon that I really want to back is Glitch Text. Like, come on.
Yes.
You ended in a cliffhanger like that. You have to bring it back to at least let us know what will happen next. Have the creators come back, make the next couple of seasons of Glitch Text, and maybe I'm down to watch it again because it was a greatly animated project on Nickelodeon. They canceled it way too short.
The worst thing that you could do to a show, whether it be animated or live action, is to end the show on a cliffhanger, whether it be due to cancellation or otherwise.
Yeah. So there's one of them. I mean, any other cancel cartoons that you want to bring up?
So I was one of those that on Twitter, I actually put up a tweet myself saying, like, showing my support for #cancel cartoons. And I put up a post talking about the 4 cartoons that I missed the most, the 4 cancel cartoons that I missed the most. The 4 that I brought up, the 4 I showed were Glitch Text, Infinity Train, Inside Job, and...
I think that's definitely one of them that you want to put down for cancel cartoons, Inside Job, because we want to see more of Inside Job instead of
Reagan. I'm so Reagan. My girl Reagan got screwed.
Your girl Reagan got screwed. There she is, by the way.
Oh my god.
Anyways, yeah, that's another cartoon to bring up. Let's see.
There was also like the 4th cartoon I'm trying to remember is the 4th cartoon that got canceled early.
I don't know. I haven't seen your tweet, so.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. So it was Glitch Text, Inside Job, Infinity Train, and
I don't know.
Let me look at.
Oh God. Okay. There's a lot. There was a lot.
There was a lot that I'm trying to.
I can bring up some names that I can bring up for cartoons that need to at least have another season.
Close enough.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, the 4th one that I brought up was Close Enough. Close Enough was, such a gem of an adult animated show. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is a bit of a hot take. I actually like Close Enough better than regular show.
Wow, that's saying something. Well, to be fair, it's more of an adult version of Adult Swim.
Yeah, and
it's more of an adult version of regular show anyway.
that's why I respect it.
Yeah. What else can I say? Definitely Ghost and Molly McGee. Definitely was canceled way shorter than expected. So that's one I want to also bring up. The Owl House is definitely one too that got canceled, I would say, because it only got a very short third season. Let's see. Haley's on it. I really hope it doesn't actually get canceled, but I'm actually putting it to the hashtag cancel cartoons.
Yeah, it's currently on the chopping block. Like, it may not have gotten axed off, but it's getting close.
Yeah, it's getting close. They didn't really get a official word about a second season, so that kind of worries a lot of Haley's on it fans. Let's see. I look at like back at all Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon shows. My Life as a Teenage Robot, I think, would be great to have another season.
Harvey Beaks.
Oh, yeah, that's a good cartoon. Holy crap.
I feel so bad for Harvey Beaks.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. Man, if you look back at the other cartoons.
Big Nate.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah, Big Nate definitely got shafted. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot out there.
Blue's Clues and You.
You think so?
Like, Blue's Clues and You got shafted too.
Really? I can't say much for Avatar: The Legend of Korra because both of them I think ended well.
Yeah, and I'm bringing up examples from the Paramount Purge.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of other like cartoons that also got purged. Remember, Netflix also did axe a couple of cartoons here. There, like Dead.
The Cuphead Show.
The Cuphead Show, yeah, that one.
As a huge fan of the Cuphead franchise, it is unforgivable that they, dealt, the Cuphead Show dirty. Like but the way the Cuphead Show season 3 ended, I'm just like, this warrants a season 4.
I know Netflix has that show Dead Paranormal or something. I forgot the name of the title, but I know that was a big hit in Netflix.
Yeah,
that got canceled.
I know. I felt bad for it. Not only that, I feel bad for the creators because they had their vision. Like, they had their vision on what they wanted to share with the audience, to share with the fans, and sadly, it's getting taken away from studio mandate, from cancellation, all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, Coyote vs. Acme. I mean, we got to bring that up too because they got canceled as well. I mean, they got canceled indeed because the fact that the movie never even got shown at all.
David Zaslav is a hack who has no business being a CEO.
Yeah, I'm looking back at other cartoons that also got like axed as well. Do you remember like movie projects that also got axed too because of this?
Batgirl.
Yeah, that's a live.
But then you got Batgirl's live action. I'm talking about. Yeah, when it comes to animated movies...
Oh, Scoob Christmas special? I think that also got shafted, too.
The Scoob holiday special, yeah.
Yeah, that one got shafted as well, so that one, hashtag cancel cartoons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's so many other cartoons that we can list out, but that has been the movement so far, and if you are a part of Twitter, X, or any other social media site, yes, do what the Animation Guild is doing. Put down your hashtag cancel cartoons, so share it all over social media, and hopefully other people will also put up their posts about their favorite cancel cartoons.
Please make your voices heard, because when you make your voices heard and they're loud enough, then it will definitely help make a change.
I would also have to bring up most of Nickelodeon's cartoons. And we're gonna be talking about that tonight.
Oh yeah,
but yeah. Most of Nickelodeon's cartoons definitely were canceled, and I really hope they end up getting better than what they come back if anything.
It's Pony.
Yeah, It's Pony is one of them. Yeah, that's a good one.
Pony was such a cozy show. It was such a cozy show.
Mighty B. That really got cut short, to be fair. So there's that.
That's what, and I hated that it got canceled. Like, It's Pony definitely deserved better. It had charm to it.
Yeah, there's so many. Like I said, there's so many cartoons that we can list down that deserves at least more. And I just hope for the Animation Guild that they could be able to keep their jobs and continue to work as animators for the next cartoons, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, keep the hashtag cancel cartoons going.
Keep it going, and we stand union strong. Yeah, we stand with the Animation Guild.
Union strong indeed. All right, let's go on to our main subject. Let's actually talk about Nickelodeon. Now, Nickelodeon, as you know, has a lot of cartoons. Some that we've grown up in the 90s, some that we grow up now. But have you been noticing that Nickelodeon has been pretty much keeping one character and has been branching out like to other things? Like, for example, SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob has, its regular show. But do you know that they also had movies, 2 spin-off shows, and a bunch of other things happening in the future?
Oh, yeah. When it comes to Nickelodeon, like, their number one brand, their number one priority is, of course, SpongeBob SquarePants, as well as the SpongeBob universe.
But then look back at the other cartoons that also have their own branches as well. Look at, like, for example, Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues had the original show back in the 1990s, but now it's been branching out to at least hit the younger audiences from the families perspective this time.
Not only that, but there's also The Loud House, in which it spawned a spin-off movie, as well as, 3 different Loud Casa movies.
Yeah. To say the least, Nickelodeon has a bunch of these, what we say, franchises that have been pretty much thriving Nickelodeon, actually. If you think back at like all the names that we've talked about, SpongeBob, Lincoln Loud, Avatar, Blue's Clues, Dora the Explorer, does that remind you of Nickelodeon? Yes.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing about Nickelodeon to keep in mind is that the way they run their shows and the way that they show their shows, it's sort of like a different priority in comparison to, say, Disney Channel. Because the difference between Disney Channel and Nickelodeon is that Disney Channel prioritizes having a, diverse, like a wide variety of different shows. Whereas Nickelodeon, on the other hand, they're more focused on making, more franchises.
Yeah.
As opposed to each different unique show like Disney Channel does. With Nickelodeon, they want to expand upon the lore, the universe of, through, a few different shows.
The thing is that TLDR version, if the IP is successful, keep it. We're gonna keep it and keep on milking the heck out of it. And to be fair, if you keep milking the heck out of it, it might thrive.
Yeah, Nickelodeon is definitely the most IP oriented of the three the 3 networks.
Let's actually break down all of Nickelodeon's branches to say, and I talk about the franchises that make Nickelodeon what Nickelodeon is. And we're not talking about we're talking about all the way back from the 90s all the way to now, because if you look back at think about Nickelodeon, they have, if you hear about the name SpongeBob, you already know, oh, Nickelodeon show, yeah. Same goes to Avatar. If you hear anything Avatar, you do the same thing. Nickelodeon, hey, I watched that Nickelodeon, hey. See? I want to see what we're doing here.
and then, Dora and Blue and so on and so forth.
Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and actually talk about, these franchises here. And let's actually start it off with, the main guy himself, SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay, so I think is that we grew up with it. Even if SpongeBob SquarePants is hated in our community at the moment, just because it started to thrive down the rabbit hole to say, it still is a part of us, our childhood, our mentions, our memes.
Oh yeah. So pretty much needless to say, it's no argument. It's a fact that SpongeBob is the poster child of Nickelodeon.
I mean, that's the thing. They're celebrating 25 years of SpongeBob. And the thing is that, look, we cannot hate on it. We are going to at least enjoy whatever SpongeBob is going to do. I understand now, we're getting older. We grow out of SpongeBob. For myself, I'm watching more Loud House because it's a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more relative. Versus what SpongeBob is doing, because it's this is more towards kids.
Yeah. SpongeBob was definitely one of my go-to shows as a kid. I'll always have the memory of buying SpongeBob merchandise, watching the first 3 seasons.
I remember you
SpongeBob.
having orange tapes of SpongeBob, right?
Yes, and also I'll always have the memories of watching the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob. The first 3 seasons of SpongeBob were I consider to be one of the best things to ever come out of animation. And then of course the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie holds a special place in my heart.
So I'm just saying right here, dude, SpongeBob, I mean, if anything, look, we've lived through everything. I watched 3 seasons of SpongeBob, watched the first SpongeBob movie, and I still enjoyed it even through the second movie too. I watched the second movie and I thought that was okay. Felt like a SpongeBob episode in 1 hour 30 minutes. But I mean, I'm just saying, even if you may have a hate vote towards SpongeBob right now, you probably are going to remember SpongeBob as a Nickelodeon franchise, as the main franchise of Nickelodeon right now.
It's not I don't think that for me, I don't think it's SpongeBob's fault. I'm not going to blame the show itself. What I do blame is, Nickelodeon for milking the sponge.
Do not think of it as a business perspective. Think of it as a family. Say, for example, you're a kid and you hear SpongeBob, or you're a person who's out of media to say, and you hear SpongeBob, they're going to immediately say, oh my god, I remember watching that when I was a kid. So it's, if anything, it is kind of Nickelodeon's lead market right now. So if it makes sense why Nick is thriving when it comes to the sponge.
Yeah, they're pretty much that's their flagship. That's Nickelodeon's flagship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if anything, I have to give credit out to SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants is doing a really good job of trying to at least keep it relevant to everybody who's currently watching it. at the moment, I would say Gen Z right now, because all the jokes that I'm getting from the newest SpongeBob's are like, I don't even know what they're talking about. So it's not targeted for me. That's why I'm changing it up my cartoons.
Yeah, like I will say, like the more I will say, I've heard that SpongeBob has gone much better. Like like after season 9, because seasons 5 through 9 was the dark age of SpongeBob SquarePants. That's where it got really bad. I did hear that it did improve, but it still doesn't hold a candle to seasons 1 through 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But either way, SpongeBob still is going to be a staple. You can't really change Nickelodeon for that. And who knows? Once it changes, it's going to be different. Because here's the thing. The deal is that SpongeBob has been pretty much rooted on Nickelodeon, that they wanted to branch out with other things that would make SpongeBob more relevant. So we ended up getting other TV shows, like, for example, the Patrick Star Show.
Why?
I don't know. Patrick Star Show was a thing that they were actually that they wanted to bring up. But this is like so weird, because I felt it was more Gen Z again, because it felt more for those kids that would like to see Patrick in a different light. The SpongeBob's not the main character. Patrick is this time.
I felt like it was pointless, because, well, Patrick really is like one of the main characters of SpongeBob. Like, other than SpongeBob, like in the SpongeBob SquarePants show, like SpongeBob is the main character. You could argue Patrick is the second main character.
Yeah, I do agree as well. But either way, I mean, they still made the show, and it was successful from the way that they see it. I don't see it. And again, it's not towards me. It's towards another audience.
Like, having another SpongeBob spin-off show, I'm not against the idea, but why Patrick of all people? I feel like
who would you go for instead?
Now, here's the thing. I feel like, there are other characters that actually do much more, that are much more warranted of a spin-off show. Like, for example, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy spin-off show would be legit.
Although the voice actors have passed away.
The voice actors have passed away. May they rest in peace, by the way. We will miss them sorely. But I feel like I do have confidence that they will find new voice actors that would help, fit the role of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, like back when they were voiced by the OG VAs. I feel like it would pay like a tribute to them.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think this is just like an idea that they wanted to go for. Either way, Patrick Star, I think, is like the second favorite character that everybody likes in SpongeBob, which I find is surprising. I don't know. Again, it is what it is. This is what Nickelodeon's move was, and it did garner up a couple of fans that liked it. I'm not a fan, but there's other fans that do.
I'm not a fan either, but more power to those that are. I'm gonna be honest though. Why not a Squidward show? Like, I actually would be.
Wouldn't that be like very depressing though? Because it's just gonna be him being tortured by SpongeBob and Patrick.
No. I think that it would be interesting if they explore, Squidward and his family life in a way, because in a way it would be like a much more darker route, a much more darker route of a SpongeBob show.
Maybe I don't know. Again, this is more of Nickelodeon's side. I'm not making any decisions. I'm just pointing out the fact that we have a Patrick Star show. Speaking of which, we also do have a Camp Coral show. If you remember that, back in the third movie, they did reference back to SpongeBob and Patrick back in the early days of SpongeBob being in Camp Coral. Now they actually did have a series for that, and I felt kind of saying, why did we want to bring that up? Again, this is just more towards, again, to the younger kids, because if we are the ones that actually are watching Camp Coral, we're kind of wondering like, oh, Sandy was born in Bikini Bottom? Oh, season 1 didn't say that.
Yeah. See, that's kind of the thing that kind of makes me mad about Camp Coral, is that there are certain elements that contradict the events that happened in the original SpongeBob show. That kind of peeved me off a bit.
Well, that's where you come in, and you say this because you're a fan of SpongeBob back in the early days. For those that are kids, they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is cute! I remember watching them in SpongeBob Movie 3."
Yeah. Apparently, I'm sorry. Did Tea at the Tree Dome never cross any of the writers' minds?
I'm guessing they're a younger audience. I'm guessing they're younger artists that are working on this.
Okay, continuity issues aside, I'm saying this right now. Like, Camp Coral, even worse than Patrick Star Show.
Yeah, because the way I'm kind of seeing it, I get it. It's CGI art, and the story doesn't make any sense. It's just SpongeBob and Patrick in camp.
And the CGI, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be real with you, the CGI doesn't even look that good.
No, it doesn't even look that good. They look like freaking Funko Pops.
Number one, the CGI really sucks. Number two is that this is going back to what I was saying about, Toad Drama Rama and, these babyfied, kidified shows just like this. Like, once again, just like with that show, in this show, they make the kids younger just for the sake of it. Just for the sake of saying, going, oh, how precious, how adorable, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Look, this is not towards us or anything, but again, I'm just pointing out the fact that SpongeBob did branch out to have other audiences look at other shows, for example, like Camp Coral. Other kids will probably like it. I am not a fan, obviously, because I just care more about the OG SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, if you go back to the original show, that's probably where I'm going to be staying at. Well, for the rest of the stuff that's going on with SpongeBob that we're going to be talking about later, those are more towards not me. I would say it would be more towards the audience I think Nickelodeon is trying to aim for right now. Like, go for the younger audiences. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this would be a good... if anything else, like, the best way I could describe Camp Coral and to extend Patrick Star Show is that they're both, good ways to introduce the kids to the characters of SpongeBob. Now, that's more for them, like, background noise.
Yeah.
Like, it's more suitable for background noise. That's literally it and nothing more.
Well, that was more towards your case. Maybe some of the kids, some 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids are probably going to like it.
Yeah, that's pretty much, the...
So my
that's
thing,
its purpose. That's its real purpose.
My thing about this subject is to aim towards what the franchises are looking at. That's why, for example, SpongeBob has just been aiming towards everybody. We're going to be the ones that are going to be going to the old SpongeBob back in the regular series. Well, all the rest of the other folks that are currently in this generation are probably going to be looking into Patrick Star Show and Camp Coral. Yeah. Besides that, that they also have made a lot of movies. For example, the 3 SpongeBob movies that are currently out that have come out in theaters. Now, I have to say this: peak to the bottom to say, but it does come at a price, because remember when we were first watching SpongeBob SquarePants movie, we were like 11, 12 years old when we first watching that. Yeah, and then when you watch Sponge Out of Water, that was more like, okay, we're getting to be adults. This is kind of more like, okay, relative, kind of like a SpongeBob episode to say. But now if you go to Sponge on the Run, it kind of feels like the humor kind of died off, and it looks like new writers are currently working on the show, and it just starts to not be good.
Yeah, now, as for my thoughts on the 3 SpongeBob movies, the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie, like I said before, it holds a special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite childhood movies. It really does capture the charm of the first 3 seasons, what made it great to begin with. Also, Surprise Patrick meme. It gave us a Surprise Patrick meme. I'll always be grateful that the movie gave us that. And also, SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water, it was sort of a return to form after the disastrous Dark Age of SpongeBob. It was sort of a return to form, but doesn't hold the candle to the first movie, let's be honest. And SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run, oh boy. Okay, so the best way to describe Sponge on the Run is that you got this, what if they... It's pretty much what you get when you stretch out this one episode where SpongeBob tries to find Gary in the 4th season. You remember that episode where SpongeBob finds Gary? Where's Gary? It's pretty much what happens when you extend Where's Gary, but then you sort of dip down the quality. You pretty much remove all of what makes Where's Gary great to begin with, and you just have the plot where SpongeBob finds Gary. Like, it's a crappy version of that episode.
Yeah, I remember King Neptune back in the first movie, and he was the one that I grew up with. Like, oh, he's gonna be King Neptune. There we go. And also the King Neptune from the SpongeBob episodes as well. When we see, as the future goes along for Sponge on the Run, when we actually get to see Triton's son, is that correct?
Yeah, it was. I think.
Well, we saw Triton's son also in SpongeBob as well, like in the regular series. Now this version of Triton's son feels very, I don't know.
Yeah,
not the same. It's not the same. Definitely not the same.
Yeah, he just didn't stand out to me as a memorable villain at all.
No,
he doesn't have the menacing presence like Dennis did in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Dennis was awesome, by the way. Nor did he have the entertaining aspect that made the villain great to begin with. Like Sponge Out of Water, you got the pirate, the live action pirate that had fun with the role. Like this villain, like this Neptune's son character in Sponge on the Run came off as obnoxious.
Also, the other thing too about the third movie is the fact that they have guest star cameos. You had Keanu Reeves as a dust as a freaking like pile of hay or something like that. And same with Snoop Dogg coming in as well. I don't know if it was just more of like, oh my God, the adults are gonna love it just because we know, Snoop Dogg and Keanu Reeves. Hello, John Wick. I love to see John Wick as a freaking whatever that tumbleweed was.
What is it with kids, movies, constantly shoving Snoop Dogg into projects?
The animation now is kind of leaning more towards what the kids are going to watch, while the adults are going to be like, okay, I'm getting bored. And then you get to see Snoop Dogg, and I'm like, oh, what is Snoop Dogg going to do? So that's the way I'm kind of seeing how the movies went. But yes, if we're going to be like movie critics and actually judge like how great these movies are, it is from 1 to 3, from the greatest to like the bottomest.
Oh yeah, like each movie is worse than the previous.
Yes. So if anything, the trend of movies when it comes to SpongeBob has been dipping to say. And if we're actually going to be talking about the next lineup of movies coming up, the 4th movie, Search for SquarePants, and the next movie coming out in 2 months, Saving Bikini Bottom, do you feel like we're still in rock bottom right now?
Okay, so as for Search for SquarePants, okay, number 1, you can't get worse than Sponge on the Run. Please, you can't get worse than that abomination.
I don't even know what the plot... Well, here's the thing. They announced it, but they never had a plot yet about it, so...
Number 2 is that what I'm hoping is that movie, Search for SquarePants, will be Who Bob What Pants done right, because I'm going to be real with you, Who Bob What Pants was awful. It was awful.
Do you all think that it's going to be like retelling it or something, or is it going to have like some references from that episode into the movie?
I really hope not, because Who Bob What Pants is one of the worst episodes.
It was an Amnesia episode.
It was an Amnesia episode, and the episode was written very poorly. So what I'm hoping is Search for SquarePants can, help redeem the episode, or it can show how to do it right.
Right. And we look back at the other characters having movies. Again, Saving Bikini Bottom is the newest movie coming out in 2 months. Why do we need to make a movie like that? It kind of feels like we're making a Patrick Star show again, but this time in movie form.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of gets me. That's what makes this unnecessary, is that why do we need a Sandy Cheeks movie? It's like, couldn't you just make a Sandy episode in of itself?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Either way, like from the way I'm kind of seeing how Nickelodeon is running, SpongeBob SquarePants is their branch, and is going to be working with these projects. And I understand the milking issue has been the problem here, but it is the way that they're getting money for some reason.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem with Nickelodeon, is that they hyper-focus, they prioritize on SpongeBob and the SpongeBob universe so much that they end up shafting other projects just for sake of giving SpongeBob attention. Okay,
to say the least, say for example you're not a big fan of SpongeBob, I can understand. Maybe you like some other show that was on Nickelodeon. Maybe you're a huge Loud House fan. Maybe you're a huge Loud House fan.
Yes.
And from 2016 onwards, yes, look, we're huge fans of the Loud House. We're the ones who make the fan page of the Loud House. To say the least, we have a lot of stuff to talk about the Loud House here.
And let's just say that
it has been our franchise for Nickelodeon.
And let's just say that if not for this show, then this entire podcast would not have existed.
That's true.
Because it all started
with Loud Casa Talks. Yes, it's all started with that.
It all started with Loud Casa Talks. So yes, you have this beautiful show to thank for making this happen.
So I'm just saying, because SpongeBob has been pretty much dominating all of Nickelodeon, we're kind of wondering what is the next cartoon that will be really successful. And we were fans of The Loud House when it came out in 2016, and we started watching the show every time there's a new episode that comes out. We'll record it, we'll watch it, we'll do reviews for it. That was back when we did the Loud Casa Talks. But that was a lot to actually handle now. But no matter what, I mean, we're still fans. We love the show, and we love everybody in the show. Like, the Louds, Lincoln has just been a great protagonist right now. And even the sisters having their own stories now. You have Lori going to college. You have Lenny running Ridingers. Luna Loud becoming a rock star. Lola becoming the pageant queen. Lana becoming a
tomboy.
No, not a tomboy. It's more of
care for animals. Animal caretaker.
Animal caretaker, and also a racer junkie. Lucy, who knows what Lucy's doing? She's doing a lot of goth things. Lisa becoming the smartest person ever. Luann being the funniest person ever. And Lynn to win a championship trophy.
Yeah, what I admire about this show is that each and every single one of these, Loud sisters have their own unique, personality traits to them, and they expand upon those traits. They give them more character to work with.
Now, the Loud House itself is a franchise as well, because the thing is that there are so many other branches for the Loud House that has been extended in through Nickelodeon. One in particular, some of you will remember, is the Casagrandes.
Casagrandes.
Now, you just never expected this. You just never expected this, because the thing is that the family first appeared in second season, and you were thinking like, okay, is this gonna be it for the Casagrandes? But no. When the show got greenlit for a show, when the show got greenlit for the Casagrandes, anybody definitely hopped on and actually watched the Casagrandes. Like, you might be a Loud House fan, but you definitely would love to see the Casagrandes.
Oh yeah, ever since Relative Chaos, I've been pretty much begging for more episodes focused on Ronnie Ann and Great Lake City.
Well, I also did predict, like, it was weird because, like, I remember when we did not an Animation Podcast, but a Loud House Talks before, I did say after what I saw in Relative Chaos, I felt like we needed more Casagrandes, and I said, why don't we make a show out of it? If it was a show, that'd be awesome. And like months later, we get the announcement. I'm like, okay, my wish came true.
You called it, man. You called it. You called it.
Yeah, I called it. Because the thing is, like, the stories of the Casagrandes cannot end there. We want more. And why not have a show? So Miguel Puga definitely had that idea, and it worked out. Had 3 seasons of the Casagrandes.
Yeah, honestly, and this definitely does warrant a spin-off show, because when you look at each of these Casagrandes, like the Loud House family, each of these Casagrande family members have their own unique personality traits that make them their own character.
Well, here's the thing: like every Casagrande member actually did have like some episode that actually reflect them. Carl being selfish, Carlota being a influencer, Frida and Carlos doing taking care of their kids, for example. Frida being a painter, Carlos being a smart guy, Hector becoming the Mercado merchant, Rosa with cooking and superstitions, Bobby running this shop, except Maria. And she did not have much. We don't really have much about Maria in the show until the movie came out.
Yeah, and Maria is the hardworking nurse who deserved so much better treatment from the show. Thank God for the movie. And yeah, but despite that, the Casagrande show was all around good fun, and I would say it's definitely as good as the OG Loud House.
Would you say this though? I mean, the Casagrandes felt very Loud Housey too. I mean, yes, Casagrandes, big house, Loud House, get it?
Yeah.
I feel like when the Casagrandes hit, I saw that it was like kind of like the Loud House, except this time around you're representing more of the Mexican culture that the Casagrandes celebrate over there, as well as what a big city family looks like, and you see a lot of like neighbors and friends that Ronnie Ann is pals with. And yeah, I mean, if anything, it just shows a different side of what big families can live in a city compared to what the Louds do living in the suburbs.
And that's why I consider the Casagrandes to be one of the best spin-off shows ever, is that it captures the heart, the humor, and everything that made the Loud House great while giving its own identity.
And you look back at like how spin-offs go, and we've talked about Spongebob before. Patrick Starr's show and Cam Coral both are spin-off shows, and those don't end well. I think they just like popped out of nowhere. We didn't ask for it. While the Casagrandes is like we wanted to ask for it. We wanted more Casagrandes because after what happened in Relative Chaos, we said where are more Casagrandes, and lo and behold, Nickelodeon answered us, and we got a new show.
Yeah, so we were blessed with the Casagrandes show, and it really does help build up the Loud Casaverse to be even better.
Now, besides the Casagrandes, we do have to also point out that Loud House also did bring up brand new movies. For example, Netflix is the Loud House movie, and then Netflix is the Casagrandes movie that came out this year, and then what we're talking about right now, No Time to Spy, that just came out last weekend.
No Time to Spy.
Now, this is weird because when we talked about the SpongeBob movies, we're kind of saying like peak to bottom. I feel like when the way I'm seeing how the Loud Casaverse movies go, it's going this way.
It's reverse SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
Because it's like, okay, Loud House movie, okay, I gave it like a 7.58 out of 10. Versus the Casagrandes movie, which like was better, animated well. It was a really peak, awesome like Casagrandes movie. And then when you hit No Time to Spy, I'm like, oh, it can't get better than that. Oh, it did.
And it became the best of the three. It
definitely was the best movie out of the 3 movies that came out for the Loud Casaverse, if we want to bring it that way.
And the thing is that it was hard for me to choose between No Time to Spy and the Casagrandes movie because I love the Casagrandes movie so much. It's heavily better than the Netflix Loud House movie. So it was hard for me to choose, but in the end, I went with No Time to Spy just because.
God. Oh,
yeah. It had a bit more
Look,
heart. It had a bit more charm than
Look,
the
we're
Casa
gonna
Grande movie
review the Loud House movie, No Time to Spy, eventually. But I'm just saying, like, when we reviewed the Casa Grande movie, that was like what, 2 hours long? Come on, if we're gonna be talking about the No Time to Spy movie, we're gonna probably be here for like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something, just because.
maybe even 3. I'm gonna say 3 hours.
Wow. You better not be working You better not be working the next day then. I'm just saying though, like from the way I'm seeing how movies go when it comes to the Loud House, the franchise itself, we are seeing that, it was the Loud House movie that started all, and we were thinking that was like the baseline of what movies are going to be like, and you're kind of thinking like, what will be next when it comes to movies, when it comes to the Loud Casaverse, and you're thinking it got better with the Casa Grande movies, and they got it to the best with the No Time to Spy movie. I have a feeling like when the 4th movie comes off of the Loud House, it'll be a 10 out of 10. Just watch.
Yeah, because the next Loud House movie will be a Loud House Casa Grande's crossover, and it will end up being like the best of the best. Like it will pretty much be like, as grand as like Infinity War. Like it will be like the Infinity War of Loud House movies.
No. If anything, I think we're expecting a Loud Casa movie coming up soon. I'm waiting for that. Miguel Puga, I know that you're currently in Blue Beetle right now, but when you have the chance to come back to the Casa Grandes, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we do celebrate you taking part in the Blue Beetle project, but even so though, we definitely will be celebrating you come back even more.
Now, here's the thing. We might have the highest highs when it comes to the Loud House, but we have to also compliment the lowest lows of the Loud House. And this is where I have to bring up the really Loud House. Look, I get it. When it comes to shows that have like live action stuff, it does end up going bad. And what the really Loud House has done is that they did reflect each of the characters of the Loud House perfectly, but this is not the same story that I remember growing up when I was watching the Loud House.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Okay. Not the worst live action adaptation of a Nick cartoon. Okay, not the worst. We're going to talk about that later. Now, Really Loud House movie could have been great. It could have been great because it has so much going for it, and there are stuff about it that does work. It does work. Now the production design. I think this production design is the strongest element because of how they really do capture Royal Woods in live action form very well down to a T. That aspect is very well translated. And I will say that the Loud Sisters, like the Loud Sisters do actually have engaging stories in Really Loud House, I will say. They do give the Loud Sisters a good amount of material to work with. And also, I do like that the actors and actresses that work on that really do feel like family. Like, they really do have fun working with each other.
Have you been looking at their Instagrams? Their Instagrams have been having wholesome stories of them working together, which is nice to see. It tells you, like, they like working as co-workers together. Yeah,
and it makes it so heartwarming, too. Like, based on that factor, like, that's where I have to give, the Really Loud House a mountain of respect, is that they have cast members who do genuinely love each other as they do on screen. But, oh my God, the reason why I can't say it's that great is because this Lincoln Loud is a hateable brat. I'm sorry, but I hated this version of Lincoln Loud so goddamn much.
Is that all?
My God, it's like, talk about backwards progress. Like, if you look at, say, the Loud House Christmas movie, if you look at Really Loud House episodes, you can tell that this Lincoln Loud is definitely not the Lincoln Loud we know and love in the Loud House cartoon, and especially season 5 onwards. Like, this Lincoln Loud has some of the most cringiest episode plot lines. He has some of the most stupidest moments. And then don't get me started on how Lincoln is pretty much such a terrible boyfriend to both, Charlie and Xenia. It's just, oh my God, everything about this live action Lincoln Loud, it just doesn't work.
As a fan of the Loud House, the first thing that comes to mind is it going to be relative towards the Loud House? And we do say that it is a little bit of relativity when it comes to the cartoon and the live action. The thing is that Royal Woods is there. Royal Woods High School kind of looks the same. You do have Lincoln's friends. You have Liam, Zach, Rusty, and Stella. You do have other friends of the Loud House. I don't know. Did we actually look into? Sorry, I haven't caught up with the Really Loud House. But does Lenny have Fiona? Does Lori have like college friends or something? Well, are they really just focusing on Lincoln?
Now, okay, so another thing that really Another thing that kind of irks me, not really, but even so, is that they make alternative choices to the cartoon. For example, you got Luann's love interest, who for some reason is not Benny, but rather he's Scotty. I'm just
it's like, not Benny. What? There's no Benny. Oh no.
What's the point of changing the name?
Oh no, that's not good already. That's not good already.
What's the point of changing the name if he's the exact same character as Benny was in the Loud House animated show? I don't get it.
So it does come to a point where the canon boyfriends, the only thing that was canon was Lori and Bobby. But like all the other canon events is not relative at all. Like, where's Ronnie Ann? I was still answering the question, where's Ronnie Ann? But instead we get Charlie and this new girl from season 2.
Based on how extremely poorly Lincoln Loud's character is written, like, oh my god, it is insulting levels of extremely poor writing. And also the fact of how Lincoln's, love lives aren't even that great either. Like Charlie, for example, is as bland as a vegetable. Like, oh my god, Charlie in the Really Loud House, I find to be as bland as toast. And Lincoln's love interest, what's the point of having Lynn's friend be the love interest of Lincoln?
I don't know, but it kind of tells me that Margot is going to be a love interest of Lincoln now. Is that what we're going to think about?
I kind of don't want to think about it, to be honest. I was based on those factors. I'm just going to say this right now. Not having Ronnie Ann in a Really Loud House seems to be a blessing in disguise.
I guess so, but I'm just going to say this out here. If anything, I do love the acting of like the folks that are currently Really Loud House. Like, they're doing great. Even Lynn Sr. literally is the same voice of Lynn Sr. in the live action. So there's that. That's the one thing that I want to point out. They are doing a great job acting, making it seem convincing. But if you're a Loud House fan like me, you kind of want to see, like, is it going to be relative towards the show, towards the cartoon? It's not at all. Like, we get the whole relationships of Lincoln and Clyde and everybody else that's also in the Loud House, but there are some things that, for example, love interests are definitely weird. Like, we don't have a Ronnie Ann. We don't have much of the Casagrandes, for example. This just kind of like does throw it off a little bit. It kind of just makes me think that the Real Loud House is in an alternate universe compared to like the Loud House.
Let's just say that if I wanted to watch a story, a live action story that centers around a big family, I'm going to watch Cheaper by the Dozen.
Okay. But I'm just saying it here, like, even if the Really Loud House is kind of a low towards the Loud House is just a big circle itself, branching out with a lot of other things that makes the Loud House a recognizable name for Nickelodeon. Like, say, for example, Casagrandes. Oh my god, they're from the Loud House. Oh, yay. Same with the movies. I mean, everybody will know about the movies now just because it is on every platform. Netflix and Paramount Plus now. But what next? Hulu? Oh, baby. That actually might happen.
Yeah, watch. If that happens, we're going to watch Loud House on Disney Plus.
I mean, you have anime on Disney Plus. And you have Cartoon Network on Disney Plus.
We have some Nick shows on Disney Plus, so Loud House being on Disney Plus, the chances are not exactly zero.
I mean, I'm just saying it out there. Maybe with the possible chance we'd actually get to see a Loud House movie exclusively on Hulu. Who knows? I'm just like putting some predictions here. All right. Now, if you're not a fan of SpongeBob or The Loud House, maybe you'll know a little bit about this particular franchise, The Fairly Odd Parents. Now, Fairly Odd Parents started off as an original show, great cartoon, and then it kind of dipped. So, like, the peak happened where we get to see Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda doing their wishes. Great movies also came out, like Abracatastrophe and Child Chasers. But then, and the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, too. We got to bring that up, too.
Yes.
And it started to dip down after a couple more episodes come up, and we get to see, like, we get to see a dog, we get to see a baby, and then we also get to see another kid. The original show, I would say, did have its highest, but it did end at its lowest.
Child Chasers is the one true series finale to the OG Fairly Odd Parents, and I will hear no arguments about it.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, I have my own memorable moments when it comes to the Fairly Odd Parents. There has been a great show back in the 2000s, to say. And then when it continued on from the 2010s, that's when it started to get a little bit weird, considering that the cartoon kind of sucks, and we also have live action movies of the Fairly Odd Parents. Wait. So we're milking the hell out of the Fairly Odd Parents, but from the way we're kind of seeing how the Fairly Odd Parents went, why with live action people like Daniela Monet and Drake Bell?
Do we really have to talk about the fact that these movies actually exist? Just why do they exist?
Well, it's a part of the Fairly Odd Parents.
Why?
It's a part of the Fairly.
Why?
It's a part of the Fairly Odd Parents franchise. Technically, Fairly Odd Parents are there. Cosmo and Wanda are there. Poof is there. You have to admit that they are part of the franchise.
I'm just gonna say this right now. The first Fairly Odd movie, growing up Timmy Turner, was so god awful. Oh god, it's one of the worst pieces of crap I've ever seen, like in movie form. It's so bad. I didn't even bother watching the other two.
Yeah, I don't like the other two. I watched the first movie and I was like, okay, maybe have a little trend here and there, but it's just weird seeing like Timmy and Tootie become a thing. Because remember, they hated each other in the cartoon series?
Well, not really. Like, it's more like Timmy hates Tootie, but Tootie loves Timmy. It was actually one-sided relationship.
It doesn't matter. I mean, like, Timmy doesn't want to hang out with Tootie. Tootie wants to hang out with Timmy, but in the end, they actually do make an agreement when they're older. This is supposed to be an older version of Timmy, by the way.
Yeah, and that's actually what really pisses me off about this movie. It's just, you're an adult. Why are you still out berries? What is this?
The logic is thrown out the window. The rules are gone.
The logic is thrown out. The rules are gone. And
so it's kind of like what we.
This movie was made by sacrificing the rules.
So to be fair, it's kind of like the Loud House, really Loud House, because all of the whole relations, all of the things that happen in the Loud House are kind of mostly thrown out the window, while the Fairly Odd Parents movies also threw out everything out the window from the cartoon.
No, but now the really Loud House. Now, of course, there was some logic and some quality of writing that was thrown out the window, but not to this extent. To this extent. At least in the really Loud House, at least in the really Loud House projects, you can argue that there are some elements that stay consistent. This doesn't feel consistent at all.
I was really wondering what made like Butch Hartman actually want to continue on with live action, because the first one was a dud. And then the other two movies actually were duds too. I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's like he's past the age where he has Fairly Odd Parents. Like, they're supposed to go away forever. Keep in mind, they're supposed to go away forever. When Timmy turns 14, 50, or 60, and whatever. It makes no sense that he still has fairies in freaking 20s, in his 20s.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, these were not great movies. And to be fair, you're already at the lowest right now. This is the time when Poof came in. So this is the time in the Fairly Odd Parents timeline where it did go to its lowest of lows, and then it got really into the lowest of lows when you started bringing out live action movies. And then it continued to go lower. You had the dog that sucked. You had the fairy god kid, the other fairy god kid that Timmy had to share with Fairly Odd Parents. But I thought it was like, what the hell is going on here now? They're like running out of ideas. We're kind of thinking like we're running out of ideas. You thought it was gonna get any worse, but it did get worse. With the Otter, that's a part of. Hey, I gotta bring it out there. That's a part of the franchise. That's a part of it. You see the Fairly Odd Parents logo. I have to admit that's technically a canon thing now.
I'm this close to leaving this room. It's just. Why
No, don't worry. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Yeah. As for the show, I gotta ask. Just wow, they actually managed to make this even worse than the freaking Drake Bell movies. Yeah. Can you believe it? Like, it only gets worse than from there.
Yeah. It's just weird whenever you see the Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder now. You just see, Cosmo and Wanda are really just looking back into a real life Fairly Odd Parents thing, but no, we're not, because Timmy Turner actually just gave his Fairly Odd Parents to these kids.
Oh gosh, and this is just so. I'm laughing right now because it's so bad, but it's also really cringe. I'm sort of like I'm laughing, but at the same time I'm really angry about this. The Flash era Cosmo and Wanda look even worse than it did in the Chloe era.
Because it is just
even worse.
Well, this is supposed to be an animated version of Cosmo and Wanda, and the thing is, this is in real life, so it's like, how do you even put animation along with?
How do you blend the two together? It just feels so candy. It doesn't even work.
It just makes it feel cringy, especially the acting. The actors that worked whatever these two kids were, I don't even care anymore. They just sucked. I didn't think they were really good actors themselves.
Like seriously, the only time that I could see 2D animation live action combined together and actually legitimately work is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This is the exact opposite of that, where it's just like they don't blend together well at all.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember that Nancy Classified episode?
Well, which Nancy Classified episode?
When the Fairly Odd Parents popped up.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of reminds me of that. Except better than whatever was happening here.
Even that looked better than whatever this is. I'm sorry, but no. Unacceptable that this exists. Unacceptable.
Unfortunately, it does exist, and we have to acknowledge it. That it is technically part of the franchise. The Fairly Odd Parents were there and have made this show Fairly Odder. So we have to put it along with the timeline here.
And the fact that they put a laugh track too is actually quite insulting, because they put the laugh track just because, they want us to laugh at this joke. But it's like, no, none of the jokes ever made me laugh.
No, indeed. So yes, again, we're just literally in a grave, literally going deeper and deeper in the grave right now. The fact that the Fairly Odd Parents made a freaking like live action show that absolutely failed. You don't think they can actually rise up at all, right? But you had this. If a new Wish came out this year, by the way, and you were expecting, okay, look, we're gonna think it sucks. We're literally in the grave, thinking like it can't get any worse, man. No. And then somehow God came up and actually grabbed our hands, and I'm like, here you go. This is something that was going to be worth watching.
Effort! Honest to God, effort! Yes! Fairly Odd Parents' New Wish is actually good. Like, I will admit. Now, when it was announced that they would have another Fairly Odd Parents spinoff, I was like rolling my eyes. I was like, oh, here we go again. But the more I looked into the show, the more I looked into what it's really about. I'm going to be honest. I warmed up to it. Where I'm like, okay, at best, it's going to be decent. At worst, it's going to be meh. But then when I looked at the actual show itself, I'm just like, it was way better than I expected. Because
it's pretty much pressing the restart button on the Fairly Odd Parents. You have a brand new fairy god kid. It's not Timmy Turner anymore. It's Hazel. And Hazel is the one making the wishes. You have Cosmo and Wanda still being there. And it reminds me of when we saw the Fairly Odd Parents back in the pilot episode. Like, they don't pop out of a 9-ball. They literally popped out of retirement. and it's still, the same comedy is still there. Cosmo and Wanda being silly and stuff. Hazel being like a better godchild than Timmy Turner, to be fair.
Hazel is Precious Bean, okay? Like,
yeah.
I stand Hazel.
But the thing is that, okay, now it's back to a recognizable brand again. You actually did really well when it comes to a cartoon like this. And you're thinking like after the whole Fairly Odd Parents stuff that happened back in 2000, you're thinking like, oh, okay, this is probably dead, right? I don't like the show anymore. Because Fairly Odders suck. The live action movies suck. The cartoon sucks right now. And then, out of nowhere, Nickelodeon just pops out of nowhere and said, like, hey, we need some new animators. We need to make a brand new project to make sure Fairly Odd Parents is still a recognizable brand. Pop, here you go. This is New Wish.
This is how you redeem the bad era of Fairly Odd Parents. This is how you redeem all the crap that came before this.
Yeah.
Like Fairly Odd and all stuff.
And if anything, there's a lot of positive reviews when it comes to the Fairly Odd Parents and New Wish. And it is part of the franchise that Fairly Odd Parents are right now. I would say, from the Fairly Odd Parents side, they did branch out to so many other things that did fail. Like, I would say, like, for example, if you were to compare like a building with like other branches of buildings that just continue to fail, like, oh, this section sucks, it's kind of like that. And right now, again, they just have their main building along with a new building that is going to thrive. So at the moment right now, the Fairly Odd Parents are gonna be more recognizable if the New Wish continues to do well, depending on how the episodes go.
Yeah, and I have all the faith in this new show. I want this show to succeed.
Oh yeah, me too. I just hope that this is going to be a new brand for Nickelodeon besides SpongeBob and Loud House. Now, besides that, I do want to go through a couple of shows that are also recognizable for Nickelodeon. For example, like the TMNT. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got picked up in 2012, and the show thrived with Nickelodeon. But the problem was that it wasn't as successful compared to SpongeBob. This is back in 2012. Loud House didn't exist. It was like more of a competition between competition between SpongeBob and TMNT and a bunch of other cartoons. But I just remember seeing a lot of fans who were a fan of TMNT back in like the 90s and 2000s finally come and check out this new TMNT. And to be fair, it wasn't that bad. A pretty good show, I would say.
Yeah. Now, I haven't seen much of the Ninja Turtles. I haven't consumed much of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles media, but I definitely do see the appeal amongst the fans. I do understand and I do see why it's one of the most recognizable names in all media.
It has been a well-known cartoon from like its cartoon to even its like live-action movies. By the way, like everyone recognized those.
They also recognize the old school beat 'em up video game.
That one too. Yeah, that was a good one as well.
I played a bit of it. It was pretty fun.
So if anything, TMNT is pretty much a well-known brand, and the fact that Paramount and Nickelodeon was able to pick up that license for TMNT, they can do whatever they want with it. So they went out and did some things to make TMNT a little bit better. For example, like Rise of the TMNT. That came out on Nicktoons, and unfortunately, this got unfairly treated. It did have 2 seasons and a movie, but we wanted more. Like, for fans of TMNT, I understand you got robbed by this because Nickelodeon was doing some shitty stuff over there, but Rise of the TMNT, animation-wise, looks great. Character design looked great. action scenes look great. Like, it could be a thriving show, but Nickelodeon didn't say otherwise. Yeah, so Resident TMNT, we have to bring that out because it is part of the TMNT franchise. And then, out of nowhere, last year, we did have a brand new movie for TMNT called Mutant Mayhem. And that was a hit movie. I would say, really a good movie, because if anything, if you are a first person, if you're like, for example, a first person to actually watch TMNT, and you're saying like, oh, I don't even know who Donatello is, Raphael, Michelangelo, those guys. I think this is a good movie to start it off, because this actually does have a good introduction of who the Turtles are, how they became TMNT, and them defeating, like, you know, other mutants too. So yeah.
You know, if I were ever to get into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the very first thing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles related that I definitely would watch is this.
I would say, please watch this movie, because I've been asking like my friends watch this movie because it is a pretty good hit. Like, it's not on the level of what was it? It's not on the level of Spider-Verse to say. It's definitely really is on that level where it's like, okay, it's still a good animated film. So if you're into like cartoons and animation, TMNT Mutant Mayhem definitely is a big movie to, you know, check out.
Yeah, definitely. I think like the animation style is what really captures me the most.
Now, like I said, TMNT has a lot of branches, but again, this was not this TMNT that I'm talking about right now. They weren't picked up by Paramount. This is the whole timeline I'm talking about here, where they've brought in the 2012 TMNT, the Rising TMNT, to Mutant Mayhem that Paramount made. And then, last but not least, we do have a brand new show from Nickelodeon called Tales of the TMNT, which is coming out in August. And it looks pretty promising. The fact that the Turtles are doing their own stories here and there, and as well, they need to also work together to defeat bosses here and there. I do say that this is actually going to be a fun thing to watch. It's going to come out in August. But like I said before, it is continuing on what TMNT has. Like, Nickelodeon definitely is banking on what they want for TMNT.
Yeah, you know, I will say, when I look at this definitely looks like something that I definitely would check out. But I want to check out Mutant Mayhem first before getting to this.
Yeah, but I'm just saying right now, like, if we're going to be basing off franchises that are on Nickelodeon, TMNT definitely is one of them. Because if they're going to be basing it right from, like, the big cartoon that happened back in 2012 or anything of the old past to say, then they would continue on with, like, making it a name brand for Nickelodeon by having a lot of cartoons come out, a lot of movies come out. And at the moment right now, from the way I'm seeing it, TMNT is looking to be great with more cartoons and a Mutant Mayhem 2 coming out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle brand to be successful under Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it's looking to be great, so there's that. Now, this is just the current franchises that are going on. I do want to talk about the past franchises that also have popped up on Nickelodeon. You may know a little bit of these cartoons here and there. Let's talk about the Rugrats. I mean,
yes.
Like, here's the thing. Look, 90s kids, we grew up with Rugrats. We grow up as one of the first original cartoons on Nickelodeon. So those who are nostalgic, who are growing up right now and are nostalgic towards Rugrats, you probably will know Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica.
Oh, yeah. Now here's a fun fact. Rugrats is the very first cartoon I ever watched, like ever. And it's the cartoon, it's the earliest cartoon that I was a huge fan of, up to a point where I would collect mountains, and I mean mountains of orange VHS cassettes of Rugrats.
So to say the least, you're a big fan.
Oh yeah, when I was a little kid, when I was a kid, Rugrats was my number one go-to show.
I remember when I was like kid, I remember watching that a lot, watching those good episodes of like Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil doing their old shenanigans and stuff. And yeah, I just remember seeing that Nickelodeon was the main network that had Rugrats. I remember just popping on Rugrats and watching watching Nickelodeon, watching Doug and Rugrats. Like, those are the two cartoons I remember going to watching. But the thing is about the Rugrats is that they did try to branch out when it comes to making the name brand more recognizable. So they ended up going to the theaters and actually made these three movies: Rugrats movie, Rugrats in Paris, the movie, and then Rugrats Go Wild. Now, Rugrats movie, this introduced Dill. Like, we wanted to see Tommy's little brother, and we saw that adventure that the kids went through. It's pretty crazy how they lost their kids while the kids are having this adventure in the jungle or something.
Like, seriously, like they have to be some of the most irresponsible parents ever, because this doesn't just happen with the Rugrats movie, but this happens throughout most of the TV series. Is that the Rugrats babies wander off somewhere, and then the parents, don't even recognize they're even there.
Now I'm kind of wondering, like the Rugrats movie did bring in Dill, which is a brand new character for the show. Then we go to Paris, and we get to see Chucky's brand new mom. So it's like we're adding new members to this family of Rugrats, aren't we?
Yeah, it's like these two movies are expanding upon the Rugrats cast of characters.
So I just realized this too. Like, oh my god, Rugrats movie, you actually grew up. You've grown up a whole lot by adding more to your family. Which is pretty cool, actually. I just thought about it just now.
Now, as for my thoughts on the movies, Rugrats movie, I really liked Rugrats movies. It had the charm and it captured the Rugrats show, very well. Rugrats in Paris movie is the best of the three. It is the best of the three because it has these deep themes about, Chucky wants to have a new mommy, whereas the other characters have their moms, and Chucky wants to have, they really do touch upon the longingness of wanting a mom in his life. And Paris looks fantastic.
I mean, this is Classy Supo back in the 90s making this movie, okay? So the animation would be, well, they have a budget for a movie. You expect
and it's
good.
The most epic of the three.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, though, for Rugrats in Paris, you get to see Kimmy, and she's now part of the family. Same with Kimmy's mom, who's now also part of the family as well. I think the biggest thing about this is the fact that Chucky's dad finally got Chucky finally got a mom, and that the family grew bigger with that movie. So,
and I couldn't be happier. Yeah,
I would say though, you're expecting Rugrats in Paris. Oh, this wouldn't be that great, but then it did get to an epic climax with the fact that Chucky's family got bigger. Either way, both movies did do great. I remember watching the Rugrats movie, and I remember tearing up when Tommy was about to do this still. That was epic. I'm like, oh my god, why would you do this to your little brother?
Yeah, he was literally about to. He almost killed him. Almost killed him.
No, not killed him, but more like in the bottle or something. I don't know. It was something. It's interesting. But then it's weird because we go from the highest to the high to the highest, then dipped really badly with Rugrats Go Wild, and there was no point in Rugrats Go Wild. It was just more, we have a crossover between two Classy Supo cartoon franchises like the Wild Thornberrys and Rugrats. How will that go? Not as good as expected.
Yeah, the crossover ended up being pointless, if anything. Rugrats Go Wild, I did enjoy somewhat as a kid, but then when I look back on it, as an adult, I thought to myself, yeah, this crossover is pretty weak.
No, it really didn't make any sense. I was not a fan of the Rugrats Go Wild movie. No, I really don't even know anything about it.
If you want a legitimately good Nickelodeon crossover, watch Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, the first two ones.
Right. No, I mean, either way, that was technically part of the franchise, and you can't really say much about it. You may say those two movies are the best of the franchise, but I gotta still give out the fact that this was a part of the franchise. So you have to admit, you cannot unforget the fact that Rugrats Go Wild was there.
Yeah. Now, this is one of those movie trilogies in that the third movie ends up being the weakest of the three.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that always do that a lot, but yeah. Now, you're thinking Rugrats, as they continue on, they continue making more episodes of the Rugrats. Again, when the new after Rugrats in Paris came out, you do get to see Kimmy and Chucky's mom finally being a part of the show. But then after Rugrats Go Wild, there wasn't really much. So what more can we do when it comes to the Rugrats? Well, let's do something like grow them up.
Yeah.
I remember that one episode, that one special where the kids went time traveled and they all grew up. And back then I was thinking, dude, this is actually not bad of a cartoon idea. It's weird because from the way I'm seeing it, the Rugrats started off with that all grown up special there, and then made their own series. Kind of reminds me of the Casa Grandes, right?
Yeah, it kind of does in a way.
So I'm just saying, All Grown Up, on the other hand, it was an interesting time because we were growing up as well. We're the age demographic of teenagers, and when we grew up, we wanted to check out what they were going to be as teenagers. Kind of feels relevant in the same way.
It kind of does, yeah. I'm as I grew up in my preteens to teenage age, I remember watching All Grown Up, and then as I was watching All Grown Up, I thought to myself, "This show's okay. It's fine for what it is. I'm not going to say it lives up to the OG Rugrats or anything like that, but I'm not going to say it's awful either."
No, I'm not going to say it's awful either. If anything, it does make me I enjoyed the first season. it was kind of relative to like whatever they were doing. Like Susie's trying to become like a world's best singer, while Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, Dill, and Kimmy are all just doing their own shenanigans to say.
Can I just say this right now? They really upgraded Dill's character. Like it's up to a point where
Dill is kind of like he's kind of a kid. I mean, he's kind of like a disgusting kid. I don't know. He liked worms and stuff, right?
Dill Pickles was the best character of all grown up to me.
Wow. Okay, that's saying something.
That is saying something like there's something about Dill Pickles that really does, capture the little brother type of character while giving out like he's weird in a good way. Like he loves weird stuff like aliens, and all that kind of stuff. And he has his quirks that make him stand out.
You know what's weird is that like Susie turns out to be like she wants to become a dream singer, so what was her role. And even if we see Susie back in the Rugrats, we don't ever see her singing. Well, Angelica continues to be a jerk, and you get to see that like as she was kind of like being a bully towards her little cousin to say.
We actually do see a couple of episodes. We see a few episodes that touches upon Susie wanting to become a singer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then Angelica, while she is a jerk, she was much less of a jerk here than she was in the original.
Right. I'm more just saying, like, the traits of the Rugrats are still here in All Grown Up. And it's like, okay, cool. It's kind of like seeing a older version of All Grown Up, but hey, Tommy's the leader, Chucky's still a nerd to say, while Phil and Lil continue to have their shenanigans. And then we get to see more character growth when it comes to Dill and Kimmy, because both of them literally just came to the show when All Grown Up just started. So there's that. I mean, if anything, All Grown Up was great. Good. I would say like an average spinoff, not really the greatest spinoff to say, but it was something that Rugrats fans really enjoyed. That is until after All Grown Up, there wasn't really much when it comes to Rugrats. We're thinking like it's over, the franchise is over. You expect like SpongeBob to take over Nickelodeon, but Nickelodeon had other plans at hand, and we ended up getting a reboot of the Rugrats series. I have to say this, different animation kind of did throw it off a little bit. But I don't think Rugrats did a really good job trying to bring it back to us, considering that it took way too long. Like it ended like around the 2000s, late 2000s for the Rugrats. And look, it's been like over 10, 15 years since we heard about a new reboot for the Rugrats that I kind of grown out of it. And even the little kids that are like currently watching it right now probably will not even enjoy it. So it feels like they did this for no apparent reason. It's just like, oh, name brand? Let's go ahead and make a cartoon about it.
Yeah, it was weird because, like, why even reboot the Rugrats when you could just pretty much make another sequel spin-off series to Rugrats and All Grown Up? Like, why can't you just have, like, Rugrats The Next Generation, where the OG Rugrats themselves have grown into adults and they have their own babies?
Yes, that would I like, to be fair. Like,
why did they do that instead of this?
That's what I was thinking.
Missed opportunity.
If you want to bring the fans back for the Rugrats, you at least grow up the kids to become parents, and then their little Rugrats will be doing their adventures. Wouldn't that be fun?
It would be fun, and I feel like it would have brought more justice to the Rugrats name instead of this. Because when I look at this, like it kind of looks unrecognizable.
It looks odd. It looks very odd. I understand there's some of the characters here and there, but it's not the same. Like you get to see Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, Susie, and Angelica doing their own shenanigans here. But I feel like Susie was more recognizable than Angelica in this show, because Susie was a secondary character to the Rugrats cartoon, while she's more recognizable here in this reboot. That's
because in this reboot, they actually decided to make Susie into the age of Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil.
Yeah. Oh, that's stupid.
The age swap was just so bizarre to me. Like, why swap the ages of Susie and Kimmy?
Because really weird. And Kimmy is also there. I don't even see Kimmy.
Yeah, you see Kimmy later on, but she's Angelica's age in this.
Oh, that's hella weird. Oh, okay, that's not what I grew up with. Okay,
that was a major turn.
So I don't understand about reboots, but when it comes to reboots, they love to twist it here and there. I don't understand. Like, why can't you just keep it original, or at least make it a good idea to actually have the Rugrats grown up and do other things? Maybe a high school All Grown Up or something. Although, to be fair, Angelica was already in high school when All Grown Up happened. So.
Oh, and don't even get me started on how they did Howard dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where's Howard in this?
They actually never mention him at all, huh?
It's like Howard didn't even exist. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I don't know. Either way, like this just is what this is what I think we didn't expect, that Rugrats was going to continue on by actually making a reboot. Like, to be fair, I think Nickelodeon was like, the Nickelodeon executive was just like, hey, we know that Rugrats was a big franchise for us back in the 90s. Why can't we bring it back? How do we do it? Make a new cartoon. I don't think you did a really good job with it, because at the moment right now it is canceled. And something tells me, like, you're not going to bring Rugrats back anymore. You're just relying on the sponge now.
Look, like, we would love to see, the Nickelodeon bring back the Rugrats. We want to see the Rugrats return. But we didn't want it like this, okay?
No.
We wanted the idea I mentioned.
Right, right. I don't know. I mean, again, I think you kind of did ruin your franchise there for Rugrats, because we grew up with Rugrats. We grew up watching the classic cartoons back in the 90s and 2000s, and the movies that were make the recognizable. But you had to make the reboot, and when I first saw it, I'm like, I'm not interested at all. Sorry. Skip, like swipe left or something.
And funny enough, now this is one of those shows that actually fell victim to the Paramount Purge as well.
I said it got canceled, so.
But unlike the other shows that fell victim to this Paramount Purge, this is the one that I don't feel the least bit sorry for.
I don't either. Either way, I mean, I think this was kind of Nickelodeon's failed attempt to at least bring back a franchise. The franchise was already great as it is, from the old classic cartoons to All Grown Up. And then you made this, which kind of made us not know it a lot more. So this is kind of like Nickelodeon's way of saying, like, we goofed up.
Yeah. It's the thing is that if I want to watch Rugrats, I would just watch the old Rugrats.
Exactly. We're more recognizable with the old Rugrats than this. All right, so it's enough of the Rugrats franchise. Let's actually go to something a little bit more recognizable for everybody here. Avatar: The Last Airbender, actually.
Let's go. Yes. By the way, there's a reason I'm wearing this shirt, because we don't talk about Pink Nickelodeon right here. This is Pink Nickelodeon.
Now, Avatar: The Last Airbender, no doubt about it, one of the best cartoons that came out in the late 2000s, with 4 books and all of these amazing characters, like, fighting and stuff. The story was just absolutely amazing to watch. I was just hooked. I just loved Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I thought it was just a great thing to see for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender is what I consider to be not just one of my favorite cartoon shows, but one of my absolute favorite shows of all time, period.
Because it's peak. Like, it definitely is different. Like, you may recognize it as an anime, to say, just because of the whole, like, animation style.
The animation style, yeah.
But it's not anime, it's a cartoon, guys.
No, see, it's anime in the same way that that Teen Titans is. Like, the OG Teen Titans and Avatar: The Last Airbender, they're anime inspired, but they're not anime.
But here's the thing, it's just a great franchise. The fact that when you first started off with Avatar: The Last Airbender, you're expecting, like, oh my god, this story is just absolutely amazing, and it makes sense why fans want more. They were like, okay, the books ended for Avatar: The Last Airbender, what's next? Blah, blah, blah. And this is where we actually get to meet Korra and her story 80 years later, actually.
Yes.
So let's actually talk about Legend of Korra, because this is more in the future. We get to see a brand new avatar, Korra, and brand new characters, and all the folks that also did follow Aang, but he was the last avatar.
Yeah. Now, as for my thoughts on Legend of Korra, obviously not as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender, but then again, like, it has its own flaws, but the flaws don't really diminish the show too much.
I kind of feel like when I watched Legend of Korra, I felt more related toward it, because it was aimed towards an older audience. Like, you see Korra, as a young adult, being more mature and stuff, and the way that she becomes the avatar is more like she has to master all the elements. She only does water. That's her only main focus. But then she went to the air temple and then did her air stuff here and there. He's trying to do the same thing like what Aang did.
Yeah, books 3 and 4 are the second half of Legend of Korra is what elevated the show for me. That's where the show especially gets strong.
Because it was like a lot of mental stuff, like peace of mind and things that Korra had to go through.
Yeah, like this show really tackled PTSD very well. Like, Korra's PTSD, what she feels.
And that's what made us more interested in the show, with the fact that Korra had these problems. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I can relate to this. Makes so much sense and all.
Because she went through traumatic stuff in book 3, and so it took a toll on her in book 4.
Yeah, to be fair, every character is, like, very lovable. I mean, you get to see Mako and Yeah, Mako,
Bolin.
Bolin, and you also get to see I forgot her name.
Asami.
Asami, yeah, which is the relationship, by the way. I actually love that.
Asami.
Either way, like I mean, if you think that Legend of Korra might be a little bit of a downer compared to Avatar, it still was a really good series. Like I enjoyed watching Korra a little bit more than Avatar, to be fair, but I was a fan. Like I was a fan of Korra. I was a fan of like what this story was going through. I actually enjoyed the first seasons and onwards. So yeah, I would say this was a great way to branch out into a new story that Avatar just left you with.
Yeah, Legend of Korra, as I said before, Legend of Korra really does stand out as a strong series by itself.
Okay.
And, you know, there are some flaws to be had, especially with Book 2. But the stuff that the show does right, it does extremely well, especially Korra's PTSD, like I said.
Yeah, either way, Korra is a part of the Avatar franchise, considering that she became an Avatar as well. I do have to mention that there was also a movie that also did come out for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No.
Don't worry,
No.
don't worry, we'll not discuss it in this episode.
Hey, I already suffered enough with freaking Fairly Oddder in the live action
But
franchise.
admit it, it's a part of the franchise.
No.
It's a part of it. It said The Last Airbender. You have to admit.
What movie? What Avatar movie?
You have to at least. It's not a part of the timeline. It's supposed to be a retelling of the Last Airbender. But
The only Avatar movie I'll ever acknowledge is James Cameron's Avatar.
oh god. Okay, fine. Blue people behave that way. All right, fine. In our case, for the Animation Podcast, we are not going to admit that the Last Airbender is a part of this Avatar franchise. To say, but I do want to admit that the comic books, we have to also admit that as well. Now, the comic books is supposed to be like a new story that follows along after Avatar: The Last Airbender ended.
Yeah, the comics are a good way to serve as sequel stories to Avatar: Last Airbender. And my gosh, I've read the comics myself, and they are written very well. Like they do capture the spirit of the series. Pun intended.
I do have to say though, like even with the fact that you actually do have the creators literally also working on the comic books, kind of does tell you that they do have a lot more in mind, and they want to do it in a cartoon, but they can't. So they do it in comics instead, and it's a cheaper way to do it, to be fair.
Yeah, and the comics are, and it really does show that the creators are involved with the comics because they capture so much of what made the show great.
Yeah, and I haven't read the comics, to be fair, but like I would imagine with all the folks that actually read the comics, they also do say that they love reading it, and they think it's like great to have in addition to the Avatar series. So even though it's not a cartoon, I have to say this is still part of the franchise because you technically are continuing the story of The Last Airbender there.
Yeah, they still actually make the story strong, and there are even some character dynamics that are explored in the comics like more so than in the show.
Yeah, so I would admit that even if, again, Nickelodeon is also involved too. Like I said, it is a part of the franchise in this case. So Avatar, again, continues on to go really well. What more can Avatar do? Well, why don't we retell it again? No, not like freaking Last Airbender, okay? Let's actually talk about the live action series itself. Now, it came out this year. It's on Netflix. It does have average reviews here and there, but we do have to admit this is also part of Nickelodeon too. Nickelodeon also is involved with this, even though it's a Netflix series. Do you like it being a part of the franchise of Avatar?
I'm going to say this right now. Netflix Avatar: Last Airbender was a mixed bag.
I mean, I would admit too, it is a mixed bag, but we have to admit, I mean, this is technically a retelling of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but in a way that could be attracting to folks that don't want to watch the cartoon.
Now, of course, they captured the world building, the makeup, the design, and the action scenes quite well. Like, they really do capture it down to a T. When it comes to its substance, however, I feel there's more to be desired.
Well, I mean, my thing is that there's some at least good acting here and there. I mean, freaking Zuko does an amazing job, whoever was the actor for him. Same goes to Iroh and a bunch of other folks. But I do have to admit, there are some actors that may need a little bit of work. Katara, for example. Sokka definitely wasn't really a great actor to say. I don't know. I mean, either way, like, it still is a part of this. And I don't know what Avatar: Last Airbender fans are doing, but it is what they want. It is what they want to do for Avatar. Like, either retell it, either make a new story, or whatever. no matter what, Avatar technically is still part of the franchise, and they're still working on it. Like, there's a second season for the show. There is more comics coming out for Avatar. If anything, they're growing. It's growing. Even if it's like a small franchise that happened back in the late 2000s, it's still a growing franchise that is still recognizable under Nick's name.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, but there are also other kinds of media that do help grow, the Avatar franchise and expand upon the lore upon it. For example, I own the books, The Rise of Kyoshi and The Shadow of Kyoshi. Mm-hmm. The Kyoshi books are a fantastic read.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't read the books, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just letting y'all know that the Avatar franchise, what I like about it is that they tackle upon the world building,
side stories, right?
They tackle upon not just the present day, but they also tackle upon the future with Korra, and they tackle upon the past with the Kyoshi books.
So the Kyoshi books actually is kind of linking those two worlds together, right?
Yeah, because it tells the story of Avatar Kyoshi. How she came to be.
Okay. I might have to actually read on that now. But yeah, Avatar The Last Airbender, we cannot ignore it. It's still growing even to this day. Even though the franchise never really lifted off after the movie came out, there's still more to be explored. And that's what the creators are doing, and Avatar is being really recognizable on Nickelodeon right now.
Yeah, I'm open to this Netflix Avatar having more seasons to come, and I do hope they improve upon season 1.
Either way, again, more franchises are still to be admitted. There are actually more franchises that we also want to talk about, but they're more towards a younger audience to say. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Dora the Explorer. Now, look, you may not grown up with Dora the Explorer, but I did. Okay, I remember literally going in front of the TV, talking to Dora, saying this is where you go, or this is where you go, or I even speak Spanish. I actually started speaking Spanish thanks to Dora. So, I mean, it's a good franchise as it is, but it was back in early 2000s, and this was a great way to engage with preschoolers. The fact that they can talk to cartoon characters, same thing like Blue's Clues, for example.
Yeah. So Dora the Explorer, it might not have been my cup of tea during the time when it was released, during my childhood. Like when I was a kid, when Dora the Explorer was released, I thought to myself, okay, even I'm too old for this. I should be watching Nickelodeon shows instead that are aimed towards me.
Well, the thing was, I had a little sister and I had a younger cousin. Both of them liked Dora the Explorer, and I'm like, okay, sure. During my summer breaks, I'll be like, what's on TV? No Nickelodeon shows, just Nick Jr. And I would watch Nick Jr. and Dora the Explorer would pop up.
I mean, I don't have a younger sibling. I don't have a younger sibling, so I don't really have, the feeling of, I'm watching this with my little, sibling.
Well, admit it. Then what were you watching during your summer breaks? Because you're pretty much at home, right? And then you're just flipping through the TV, and then what were you watching?
SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, Rocket Power, those shows.
But yeah, those air in the afternoons. What you were doing in the morning?
What was I doing in the morning was I was pretty much going to drama camp and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so camps. Okay. So summer camp stuff?
Yeah, summer camp stuff.
Okay, nice. That's why you never heard about Blue's Clues and Dora the Explorer that we're explaining right now.
Oh, I've heard of Blue's Clues. Okay, come on. I grew up with Blue's Clues.
Oh, yeah, I grew up with Blue's Clues too. I'm just saying, again, Dora the Explorer is currently a big franchise at the moment. And it's weird because Dora the Explorer, it was a great show as it was for Nick Jr. Same went for the other show as well, Diego. Go Diego Go. Now, it's so weird because when you watch Go Diego Go, it's just more towards Dora's cousin Diego doing some safari stuff because he loves animals and he does talk to animals and stuff. I remember growing up with that show too. It may not be as interactive compared to Dora the Explorer, but Go Diego Go was a great adventure as it was as well. I mean, some of you fans probably are watching right now saying oh my god, I remember growing up with it. Yeah, that was a Nickelodeon brand too. So yes, I mean, there's Go Diego Go. You haven't watched it, huh? No. So he has no mention about it right now.
For me, it's a no-go.
Okay, fine. No Go Diego Go.
No Go Diego Go for me.
So I'll just explain this briefly since we're going to be running out of time right now. So Go Diego Go was one franchise that was also under the name brand of Dora. I would say this would be a spin-off of Dora, and it was successful back in the Nick Jr. days. But then this cartoon also did pop up called Dora and Friends Into the City. And this is kind of like what we're. So I don't know what was going on back in those years, but we were kind of looking towards like teenage girls like hanging out like with other friends to say. This kind of reminds me of
Friendship is Magic vibes.
Yeah,
vibes.
This reminds me of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, but it's like obviously humans.
My Little Dora exploring his magic.
No. No. Okay, so this actually occurred during like high school, and I remember watching this, and I was like, not for me. This definitely would be for little kids. I would imagine they'll be like, oh my God, let's go to the city. Let's actually talk about art. Let's go do this and that. Oh my God, my friend is in trouble. Help me out.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah,
it's more along the lines of, it's more for them more than it's for me. Like, I'm not the target audience.
I would explain this, though. Like, this definitely did not feel the Explorer route. Like, you took out the Explorer out of Dora and just made her become like a regular old young child this time. Like, she's not exploring with animals. She's just hanging out with friends. And you know what? I think that's like a different vibe for Dora. It's not bad. But not for me. I don't know if I've ever watched it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch it. But it is for a certain target audience. I'm not part of the target audience. It's not for me, but it's for them.
Although, to be fair, when we actually continue on the Dora lore here, we have to talk about this particular movie, Dora and the City of Gold. Now, I was kind of weirded out when it comes to this whole Dora movie. You have Dora, who's leading the way with all these other adventurers, along with Boots, which is like a CGI animated monkey.
Boots looks so uncanny here.
I know. It doesn't look like a monkey either. But it's just Dora being like Indiana Jones. Like, going through temples, through these, like, challenges to, like, find some sort of like, crystal thing. Or the City of Gold or something like that.
Dora, listen to me. You are not Indiana Jones. You are not Nathan Drake. Stop trying to be like those guys.
Yeah, I don't know what, but I didn't watch this movie. I just remember, like, seeing this, and I'm like, we're really making a grown-up Dora, are we?
Yeah, when I look at this, Dora and the Lost City of Gold, I look at this, I thought to myself, okay, why is Dora the Explorer all of a sudden trying to be Indiana Jones or Uncharted?
Well, the other thing, too, is that she also has the same fit. Like, the hair, the backpack, the purple backpack, and a map, and the shorts. I'm like, I'm literally looking at a grown-up Dora. Still exploring.
The last thing that I imagine Dora to be, I haven't watched much of Dora the Explorer, but the last thing that I want Dora to be is the long-lost child of Indiana Jones.
Oh, God, no. Maybe that was the twist.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I'd also like give a shout out to Arturo from the Cos Gratis.
Yeah, Arturo's in there. Freaking Arturo is in there. It's like, so that's what he's been doing when he was supposed to be a father to Ronnie and Bobby. That's why he's been absent. He's been treasure hunting with Dora.
Hey, you know what? If I was a Dora fan, I would do the same. But yeah, I mean, the Dora lore definitely kind of digs deep into Nickelodeon right now. Like, we get it. Dora was a big name franchise. We saw its cartoon. We saw the spinoff with her little cousin. Same goes to having like a freaking Friendship is Magic cartoon series for some reason. And they wanted to bring the franchise back by bringing back Dora in a way that would attract grown-ups, I guess. Oh, she's now exploring ruins now. What the hell? What happened to the good old days of actually taking care of your grandma?
Like, I don't have a problem with them moving into grown-up territory I don't have a problem with them going into, grown-up movie territory, but there's got to be a purpose to it.
Right. I don't know. I mean, again, I haven't watched the movie, but, for those who are into Dora, hey, there's Dora, the Lost City of Gold. Go check it out. But you also do have to say, Dora didn't end there. It continued on, branching out into another franchise, into another cartoon series that has expanded the franchise of Dora the Explorer, and that would be the new Dora that is currently out in 2024. Oh, man. CGI animation. You do get to see the friends again. You get to see Dora's friends again. You get to see Boots. You get to see Swiper the Fox. And even those freaking, like, little bugs that, like, put a trumpet theme whenever you win a mission or something.
Seriously, I'm getting sick and tired of, reboots or sequels or remakes getting the CGI 3D treatment.
I kind of don't...
Between this and Camp Coral.
Like the CGI shit. I kind of don't like the CGI shit. I mean, like... reboots are going to be like this. I mean, you did the reboot with Rugrats, and you're doing the reboot with Dora. And
Camp Coral. Don't forget, Camp Coral is the worst offender in this.
Well, that's more of a spin-off than a reboot.
No, but like that's still another.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
spin-off
I'm just
show.
saying, like, when it comes to reboots, they are doing the same thing too. See, make it all CGI, which I'm like, Well, to be fair, like, it doesn't make Dora that look great looking. It just makes the animals very 3D-ish now. I don't even know what adventures Dora's going through, but it's trying to be like the same thing that we remember growing up with Dora the Explorer. I don't know if we have a computer literally just pointing a mouse where she goes.
You know those memojis, those Facebook avatars that you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dora looks exactly like that.
Yeah, kind of.
Dora looks exactly like those, memoji Facebook avatars.
Yeah.
It looks so uncanny.
It's so weird, but like again, this might be towards like parents in this case because parents grew up with Dora the Explorer. Maybe their little kids would like to see a newer version of Dora doing the exploring out in Mexico somewhere. So yeah, either way, it's a big franchise. Nickelodeon recognizes Dora and continues to make brand new cartoons and shows for Dora the Explorer that continues to bring fans in. Now, I want to talk about one more franchise before we end the night tonight. And let's actually talk about Blue's Clues.
Yes.
Blue's Clues.
We gotta find the last paw print.
Okay. You know the song. We get it.
Yes.
Now, Blue's Clues went through two people. What was it, Steve and Joe?
Yeah.
Both of them helped Blue out when it comes to helping out with clues. And it had so many episodes, by the way. Like, I remember watching the first episode of Blue's Clues. Steve was so energetic, finding all those clues with all the kids. And I remember, like, screaming with the kids, "It's a clue, it's a clue!"
Now, unlike Dora the Explorer, Blue's Clues is, a preschool show that I hold near and dear to my heart. I adore Blue's Clues.
Yeah, I just remember, like, all the characters that we remember going with Blue's Clues. You get to see, like, Magenta, who's also, like, Blue's friend. You get to see Salt and Pepper. They have a baby with Caprica.
You get to see Shovel and Pail.
Oh, yeah, Shovel and Pail. You get to see Tickety Clock in the mailbox. So
And then this bar of soap that goes, whoa!
I forgot his name.
The very first thing I remember about this bar of soap is that he kind of like slips and slides and goes, whoa!
Well, he's a soap. He's gotta be he's gotta be slippery nonetheless. Oh, Slippery Soap. There we go. That's
Slippery
his name.
Soap.
That's his name. Yeah. Look, Blue's Clues was a legendary like show for all of us. And then it did stink the fact that like Blue's Clues did leave with Steve doing his own thing.
He went off to college. Steve went off to
quote unquote college.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put that. And then Joe took over, and you know what? Joe did a great job also. Like I remember liking Joe being like helping out Blue when it comes to clues and stuff like that.
Yeah, Joe, while not as good as Steve, Joe really did manage to be a good Blue's Clues host on his own too.
Yeah,
like Joe really did help keep the Blue's Clues environment thriving.
Well, if anything, it does make like us engage more in Blue's Clues the show, and also say like, "Here's a clue. We're helping you, Joe." All that stuff. And I remember before. There was a movie for Blue's Clues. Do you remember that? Where Steve was going to do his own performance instead of having the kids, or him finding his first clue without the kids' help. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Yeah. And I remember like, remember the music note that was in that movie for Blue's Clues? That was Ray. The jazz singer Ray.
I don't remember.
You don't? It's the movie. Because it was like a big performance where everybody's like performing their own thing and stuff.
And it kind of escapes me off.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess we'll have to refresh your mind somehow.
like Blue's Clues, I was watching during my childhood, man.
Yeah, I just remember like so many like celebrities also being a part of this, trying to help out Steve and stuff like that. And yeah, Blue's Clues was definitely like a impact in my childhood, because I remember growing up with Nick Jr. when I was like 7 or 8, and Blue's Clues was there. And I was interacting with Joe, just talking and saying like, "Here's a clue. Oh my God, there's a clue." And it also makes you think, what do the clues mean? What do they all mean before Steve answers it for you?
That's what I respect about Blue's Clues, is that it helps encourage children to think. Like it's definitely one of those that helps children learn thinking skills, problem solving skills.
Yeah, problem solving skills. I think that's what Nick Jr. does. It's supposed to teach kids how to like grow themselves up instead of actually going to school.
But Blue's Clues does it the best.
This is why it's like a great summer school thing. It's like a great summer thing to do. Watch Nick Jr. for a little bit before things happen.
But Blue's Clues does it the best.
Yeah,
it does it the best.
I still would too, but same with Dora the Explorer. Like I remember watching Dora the Explorer, and I was actually interacting with Dora, saying, "It's over there, it's over there." But that's what makes it fun for watching Dora the Explorer. Now, Blue's Clues did go with Steve and Joe. The other thing that also comes up is the fact that Blue actually did come up in real life. You remember the show Blues Room, right?
Yeah, Blues Room. It's the one where Blue comes to life in Muppet form.
Yeah.
As you see, and then you do get to hear Blue talk.
Yeah, Blue is talking, and there's just like some sort of fairy that's like walking around, like giving Blue like wishes and stuff. It's just more of Blue literally just going into her room, and just having a fun time. Just I don't know for like 5 minutes and stuff. Because I remember like literally watching Blue's Clues while Joe was still there. After solving the puzzle that Joe was trying to solve, we go to Blue's room for a couple minutes, and then afterwards we go back out and say goodbye to Joe.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. And let me just say this right now: Blue's voice actress, like Blue's voice acting is so cute. It's so adorable.
Oh yeah, it's adorable. That's what makes it like cute. Because like we were like kids and stuff. I just remember like we were growing up watching Blue's Clues, and then we're relating towards Blue because we're like, oh my god, we're gonna have fun too. We like to do pillow fights. We love to talk about stuff here and there.
Like Blue's voice really does capture that energetic, fun-loving, kind, and just all-around playful puppy in Blue.
Mm-hmm, indeed, yeah, and that's what I kind of like about Blue's Room. Even though it's like a little short, and it also was a series itself. It did attract all the Blue's Clues fans to like Blue a little bit more with the Blues Room to say.
Yeah, and I respect Blue's Room for that.
Now, unfortunately, after Blue's Room, we haven't heard about Blue's Clues in quite a while. That is until we get to see a brand new person taking care of Blue.
Blue's Clues and You.
Yeah,
yes.
So Blue's Clues and You was a new series that came out. There's a brand new host. What's his name again? I'm sorry. Joe. Not Joe.
No, not Joe. Josh.
Josh, yes. There's a brand new host named Josh. He's the one taking care of Blue. We have a newly animated Blue. It's not like the same 2D version Blue. And to be fair, this version of Blue is better than the 2D version.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this right now is that this is one of those cases where the transition from 2D to 3D is done excellently.
Yeah, because the thing is that she shows emotion in like the cartoon compared to like Blue's Clues where she's just her plain face and stuff. She's not like, we don't even see her face that much. And her face here is like more recognizable. And she's like happy, she's sad, she's, anything that makes it a happy dog to say.
Yeah, Blue, like, the thing I respect about Blue is that it even surpasses the 2D just because of the fact that, like you said, like, they play more with her emotions. Like, she actually emotes.
Yeah, it's supposed to have emotions, yes. If anything, it just makes it more recognizable. Same, and also the thing is that they also did bring back the characters that were also in Blue's Clues, like Salt and Pepper, you got Shovel and Pail, you have the other characters, Tickety Talk and Mailbox, they're also there as well. So it's kind of retelling it back to the original Blue's Clues that we remember growing up with, but this time around with a younger host with Josh.
Yeah, and if I were to show any of my kids like any sort of modern Nick Jr. show, the first thing would be this.
Indeed, yes. So yeah, Blue's Clues definitely, I would say, a well-recognizable franchise with the fact that everybody grew up with it, and that those who grew up with it are also showing their kids how they remembered like Blue and doing all these clues and stuff.
It captures the same charm, yeah.
Yeah. So this actually leads me to this question here for Nickelodeon. With these franchises that are coming for Nickelodeon, do you understand the strategy that they're doing now for Nick?
I get that I think that with all the franchises, I do get why Nickelodeon comes up with this strategy the way they do. While I do prefer that they come up with new original content, I do see why they're reliant on their IPs. Like,
yeah.
Like they're definitely, one thing about Nickelodeon is that they are an IP oriented company.
Well, everybody's an IP oriented company.
No, but with the others, like Disney Channel, for example, I already brought up that they put more, variety in their shows, whereas Nickelodeon focuses more on their IPs.
It's more like whatever is ranking in the money is what will continue on thriving. So, for example, even if Dora the Explorer wasn't heard for quite a while, there are some fans that still know it. So when it comes to like shows like Dora, Rugrats, and Blue's Clues, it's more of the nostalgia factor that has brought them back into Nickelodeon. So like that's the reason why they made reboots of these cartoons. They might not be great, but at the same time, they were trying to hit those audiences that grew up with it long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to the reboots of the original shows, while there are mostly misses, there are some that really do nail nail it really great. Like there are those that get it right, like New Wish and Blue's Clues and You, for example.
Yeah. Speaking of New Wish, Fairly Odd Parents, TMNT, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yes, they're already recognizable names for this generation, the 2000s generation. I don't know what kind of letter we have now for us to say, but we know Fairly Odd Parents were back in the days. So whenever we get to hear the fact that Fairly Odd Parents is having something new, we get curious. You don't lie. You get curious when you hear that there's a brand new Fairly Odd Parents series coming out.
Yeah, it spreads all kinds of emotions. Like there's a part of me that's curious, but then there's a part of me that's doubtful. Like, is it going to carry the same quality as the predecessor?
Well, I mean, like, the Fairly Odd Parents is already a recognizable name, so it just said, like, okay, maybe I'll give it a chance. Look, I remember growing up with Cosmo and Wanda, so why not try it? And lo and behold, it was actually good. TMNT, even though it was really hitting those 90s TMNT fans and beyond, because nostalgia all the way to the recent TMNT. Even though Nickelodeon picked it up in 2012, they're still going to milk the franchise, considering that is a well-recognizable name. Even if they don't have the rights to the old TMNT back then, TMNT still is a recognizable name for everybody that is a fan of that show. Like Simpsons, for example. So everyone is a fan of The Simpsons because it's a recognizable name. Same goes to TMNT. So that's the reason why Nickelodeon is trying to thrive with TMNT. And then when it comes to Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's already a big hit as it is, and they want to just continue to expand it. And they're doing a really good job with it. The fact that Nickelodeon is dealing with comic books that continue the story and having a live-action series on Netflix. I feel like like fans who know Avatar: The Last Airbender are going to eat it up. They're going to be the ones to buy those comics and read whatever's coming up next for Avatar. Same goes to the Avatar Netflix series. Maybe some fans are saying, like, okay, I hated the movie. Can we do something better with the live action series? Lo and behold, it's doing great so far. To some people's eyes.
Keywords being so far.
Yeah, but I don't care. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what's going on, but Nickelodeon is just doing well when it comes to their names. Like, these franchises are the definition of Nickelodeon. Loud House and Spongebob, you already know it. They are the ones thriving in Nickelodeon right now.
They're the ones thriving the most.
Yes, yeah. But I'm just saying, even though you never heard of these other franchises that are coming up, Nickelodeon is going to be pretty much baking their money on it. And it does feel bad for those that are trying to make original cartoons for Nickelodeon. I would say don't go for it right now, because if you're not any of these cartoons, good luck, because you're not going to probably see the light of just one season for your cartoon.
Yeah, we all know what happened to It's Pony. We all know what happened to Big Nate.
So I kind of feel bad for Rock Paper Scissors, considering that they're currently on limbo right now.
Yeah, like I may not have been impressed with how Rock Paper Scissors looked, but even I thought, give the show a chance,
Yeah, and then here's the thing that I'm kind of worried about right now. Fairly Odd Parents' New Wish is not on Nickelodeon right now. Are we looking at it failing too?
Please no, please no. I really hope not.
Yeah, I really hope not, because right now, if you just look at what Nickelodeon is doing, it's just SpongeBob, movies, Loud House, and that's it. So where's the rest of those other franchises? Well, you just have to look at the other sources that have those Nickelodeon properties. Netflix, Dark Horse Comics, what was it, Paramount Plus. Those are the only ways you can actually know about those brands. So,
yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I want A New Wish to succeed. It's not just because I'm a fan of the show, but because I want more variety for Nickelodeon. Like, I want more than just SpongeBob
the variety.
Loud House.
The variety is just only on SpongeBob Loud House right now, and I really hope, again, from what I'm seeing so far, that these franchises, even if some have died, like Rugrats, for example, that they're still going to thrive and make Nickelodeon successful. TMNT with Mutant Mayhem 2, Tales of the TMNT, that's probably going to be successful. Same with the Avatar stuff. Avatar is being successful, and the Dora Explorer series, even though we're not fans of it, there are other kids that are also fans of it, so they're probably going to be successful. I'm just saying it out there, like, Nickelodeon is going to be... Nickelodeon is doing great. I feel like Nickelodeon is doing great. By doing more analysis of all these like franchises and all these names that are more recognizable for Nickelodeon, it makes sense why Nick is currently in a good spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish Nickelodeon a bright future, and from the way that we've been describing the Nickelodeon shows right now, I do feel that they got a good future ahead of them in about like 2 to 3 more years at least.
No. I feel like they're gonna do well. I don't see it. I don't see it devolving like Cartoon Network right now.
No, I mean like it's not gonna. It's
I don't
not
know.
gonna.
Okay,
Like it's not gonna die like Cartoon
I don't
Network.
specify. I don't know why you specify 2 or 3 years.
No, I mean like they're gonna do well in like 2 to 3 years. I'm gonna say, not maximum, but more like at least 2 to 3 years.
Well, okay, I don't get it. You're saying that they're not successful right now?
Like they're successful, and I hope they're gonna continue to be successful.
Yes, but the way the way they're being successful is not by the network, but it's more towards their name brand.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that it becomes like
if
I
they
just hope that it continues to stay strong.
if they want to keep on putting SpongeBob on Nickelodeon, that's fine. But we still know Avatar. We still know Loud House, TMNT.
I'm just I hope it continues to stay strong. I hope it continues to stay strong.
It will still. I think it will. Nickelodeon looks to be like having a bright future, even though we took some shit about it in a previous episode.
Oh gosh.
We looked further into this, and I would say you can't stop Nick right now. I think Nick would also be doing well.
Yeah, despite despite certain things we've said, and despite certain controversies that have arisen nowadays, I don't think that's gonna stop Nickelodeon from thriving.
Yeah, if either way, Nick again is thriving. You can look back at all the things that we've mentioned tonight, and I would say if it wasn't for these like name brands, there wouldn't be a Nickelodeon right now.
Yeah, no, like if it wasn't for say Rugrats or SpongeBob, we wouldn't have gotten Jimmy Neutron or Fairly Odd Parents.
Indeed, yeah. All right. Anything else you want to bring up for this subject, or are we done for the night?
Nothing much I want to say is that, like I said, I do wish Nickelodeon to continue to be strong, and I do wish them a bright future.
Oh yeah, indeed. Well, that was pretty much it for our episode. We had a long one tonight, so thank you guys for watching in our live stream. It was a pretty long one, but we did want to bring this out just because Nickelodeon, from the way we see it, is going to be looking good. But again, we'll see how the future goes. Paramount's doing great. Loud House is doing great, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess Nickelodeon's going to be doing great. Thank you guys for watching us here on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram at Anination Pod, so you could see all the latest updates that's going to be happening for our podcast. Next week, we're going to do a July 2024 highlight package, so it's going to be a very short episode next week. We're going to be discussing premieres that will be happening in July, like Despicable Me 4, the Disney Channel premiere of Primos, as well as the KCAs. So
the KCAs.
So make sure you come back next week. We're going to be discussing a lot about that. Again, it's going to be a short show next week, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, like I got a lot to say about the KCAs, but that's for another time.
Either way, again, thank you guys for staying up with us this late. I hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you guys next Wednesday, but until then, we'll see you guys later.
Have a good night, y'all.
Bye, everybody. Oh, okay. We got to do this whole mouse thing again.
Oh man, it's just
this is a pain in the butt.
But hey, like, weren't your grades at least still better than having the desk? Or
what do you mean? Yeah, it's better than having the desk. Yeah.
Bye.